Hello. Welcome,
Hello.
friends and family.
Happy No Nut November. Stay
Yeah.
strong.
This is
Stay
such a
strong,
different
Kings.
conversation than I thought we were going to have.
I know. Yeah, everyone. Maddie thought we were going to be dunking on No Nut November, folks.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you,
thank you for
Eternity
following
Box.
or
Yeah.
subscribing. Yeah,
For three
but
months.
she's had. Oh, nice. But yeah, Maddie has had to discover that actually I'm pro No Nut November. I'm pro semen retention. I'm pro chastity, etc.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was, before the stream, I was like, yeah, like that one guy that believes that, cum is like what your brain floats in. And Devin was like, oh, yeah, that's real. Absolutely. That's definitely what Devin said. And I definitely didn't make
that's
that up.
that's scientifically real. Uh,
Devin
no,
Devin is a doctor, so you have to believe it.
and clearly, neuroscience is always correct. It's a highly advanced science. It's not completely made up bullshit. Just using like really expensive scientific equipment to legitimize pre-existing social beliefs or anything like that. And yeah, your brain is floating in cum, and and every time you come, you get dumber, and that's good. Um,
Devin, I mean, I think it's really a really bad thing, like this like thing where people are like, you're porn brained and that's why and so many people are like, yeah, that's why you're transgender, is because you're porn brained.
mhm.
But what we're discovering in real time is that Devin just is. He really is actually porn brained.
I thought it was already clear, but I mean, like, yeah, like it's a big thing in the hypno community to talk about how like your brains are melting out your pussy. Like that's legit a lot of material in many fine audio files that people make. Um,
There are many comics that prove my my theories
prove
on
my
this.
theory. Yes, and if you manifest it, then it will be so. The placebo effect is very strong. And yeah, so if pushy juice can be brains, I don't understand why semen couldn't be as well. It's all about equality.
Oh my god. Um so yeah, let's talk about No Nut November.
Yeah.
It's a thing on Reddit, mostly, not only. Um I didn't really prepare anything. I cuz I just was like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing." And I figured Devin would have thoughts on it. Um and
Absolutely.
I was assuming that there would be like a master post on No Nut November, because swear there used to be, because I've kind of looked at it a little bit, like uh and there doesn't really seem to be any
Yeah.
there was this good Trump post which kind of shows the flavor of the subreddit.
Yeah, very
um
conservative.
but
Yeah, you'd think they would have a sidebar because like all of them, MRA, Red Pill, they all have literature that you're supposed to read. You're supposed to lift weights and read the sidebar and shut the fuck up. That's what they tell you over and over again on those subreddits. Um,
we did
but
discover they have a Patreon, so maybe that's all behind the Patreon wall now.
yeah, that could be. It has to be. Somebody has to be winning on this grift.
I
Like,
mean, they're making money off the Patreon, so
right.
uh,
Brothers
yeah,
in arms.
yeah. Thought. Oh my
We could.
god, Nut Vanquish. The two swords are Nut Vanquisher and Thought Slayer.
Oh my
Ooh.
god. We
Oh,
could
there's
get
only
past the pay.
16 members. They must have just started.
Week. We could get past this paywall. I know how to get past a Patreon paywall if we wanted to
Really?
look and see. Yeah, I think the site's kimono.party, and then we could just look them
Oh,
up. Let me see if I could do it.
that sucks for most Patreons. For most
Yes,
Patreons, I'm like, I hate that that's a thing, but for this one,
absolutely. That's why I keep this knowledge in my back pocket and I don't, sing it from the hilltops as much as libgen.rs. But for this kind of purpose, Let's see. No Nut November. No artists found for your query. Artists. What's their username or like what's their account name? Is there like
It's No Nut November.
maybe if I try it as one word.
Maybe it's because it's too new. Is that stuff is probably user generated, right? I think that's what I've heard is that
Yeah.
it's like leaks, right?
It's I don't know how they like upload it as like an archive, but yeah. Yeah, it's not coming up. Like no Nut November content is coming up, which normally if you just search for something like random things will come up. Um yeah, it seems like this is a pretty new grift, so there might not even really be that much there.
Yeah, there is one post, but
Yeah.
it might actually even be this public one.
Yeah, that might be it. Hello, Chicago. Thanks for
Yeah,
being here again. Is it Boju? Bouge?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it
I
was
know it's a zhush.
yeah,
Is it Boju or Buju?
Bushu.
Because I noticed it was spelled with only one O when I was reading Braiding Sweetgrass the last couple of weeks, so I don't know if that's like a difference between different groups or what.
I think we're not nutting because it's November and nutting makes you dumb, and some people think that's bad.
Buju like bougie. Okay, thank
Boujou
you.
like bougie. That's
Buju.
really helpful.
That's very helpful. Yes. my my internet ruined brain can remember that. Buju like bougie.
um,
Uh, but yeah, like we were just talking about this before the stream started that like I didn't have a nefarious association between No Nut November and like the alt right in my mind, which is kind of stupid because it's like because it's the guy who founded like Vice like invented a lot of like semen retention stuff and like
oh,
became a big
what?
alt right movement, right?
I know that guy. What the
Yeah.
fuck is that guy's name? I know all I know is that he's the guy who put a dildo up his ass to own the libs. Do you know
Oh
about
my
that?
God, Gavin McInnes. No, I didn't know that about
I
him.
don't know.
Oh my
Literally, because I
God.
heard about this and I was like, what the fuck? How? Because, he's like an alt right, like, anti gay guy, but
Right.
like, so I was trying to figure out what the fuck. And literally, it was so long ago that this happened, and maybe not quite as long that I learned about it, but it was literally like, there wasn't context that made it make sense. Like, it was just like,
Like I'm proving to you how straight I am and how good I am at semen retention because even when I hit my own prostate, I can
maybe
make myself
that
not
was it.
come.
I didn't know he was the semen retention guy.
Well, yeah, so he founded the Proud Boys, which that
Yeah.
originally started as a it wasn't like explicitly alt-right back at the time. It was very like just semen retention for like harnessing your strength and discipline and willpower and all of that kind of stuff. And what do you know? When people don't nut, they do get kind of angry, and are easily manipulable because they've already given something up to this like cult leader. So you've already like trained them to be obedient, and so then it like radicalized from there, or was easy to radicalize. Um,
Yeah, and I think that, like, the reasons that they, like, it's very much in that kind of, like, porn, this idea of, like, porn addiction is why they, like, why people do No Nut November, is because they think that they're addicted to porn, which is like, we've talked about before, but it's like, oh, is this article bad? Yeah, thank you for the link, Slippery Loops.
yeah.
There is an article about it. Uh, but yeah, I don't think that there's a good reason. I don't think there's a
Yeah,
context
whatever it
that makes
is.
sense.
Yeah. Oh, he did it to prove he doesn't hate gay people.
Di-
That's the argument.
oh
Oh,
my
and what do you know?
god.
The Reddit link to Imgur with evidence of this has been taken down because of the Reddit porn ban. So we can't have anything.
We can't have
You know, I
anything
can't even
good.
look at Gavin McInnes put a dildo in his butt to prove he's not gay because of fucking censorship.
Because of woke culture.
Applause, woke
Because of
moralists.
woke culture. gosh. Oh, did you see that Tumblr post that was like, every time Lucy withdraws the football from Charlie Brown, this is like in Jordan Peterson voice, that psychologically hurts him. That takes a psychological
every
toll on Charlie Brown.
every time Lucy pulls the well, it's just like that's not. It's just a Kermit voice, right? So if you have a Kermit
Yeah.
voice, it's me. I'm Kermit. Uh, I'm going to Kermit suicide. That's the horrible joke.
Oh,
When Lucy pulls the football
that
from
takes a psychological toll
that takes a
on Charlie.
psychological toll.
You
The
need to be crying more.
lobsters.
You definitely need to be crying more. But you're in the right neighborhood for sure. The other thing in that post was like Jordan Peterson, legs crossed way too tight. That was like a stage direction.
Yeah,
It's really hard to.
to be clear, that wasn't. I don't think that was real, right? That was just the kind of shit that he talks about.
It could be said
Ugh.
at any moment. No, this was a fictional Tumblr post, but it's impossible to distinguish at this point. Um,
Thank you
and it sucks.
for the props on in the chat.
Yeah, yes.
The rats.
And that's something he's posted about recently too. He had a tweet that was like, if you explore sexuality too freely and look at porn too much, it will make you gay. It will inevitably make you experiment with being gay. Was something Jordan Peterson had tweeted recently.
Which really is just like telling on themselves that it's like the all of the like alt-right Republican politicians where they're like, this is what they're advertising on Instagram, and then they'll post like a thing that's like a like an ad for like a gay thing, and it's like, dog, that's on Instagram where they get that. They don't show you that if you're not looking at
Right.
that. Like
The algorithm is telling on you, dog. Like,
you're telling on yourself by fucking posting that shit.
yeah. Yeah, well, and it's how they talk about gender too, right? Like the gender binary is this immutable scientific fact, but also if you have any exposure to ideas that run counter to it, you'll no longer be a man or a
Right.
woman in the way that you're supposed to be. So it makes no sense. It's like we have to maintain this order with an iron tight fist, and it's the natural order also, and the way things are meant to be.
But
These
yeah,
two things don't add up. Yeah.
our enemies are simultaneously strong and weak.
Right.
Classic.
Yes. But yeah, I like No Nut November. I think No Nut November could be cool, if it wasn't for all the associations. Oh my God, look at that loaf.
It's a good
Look at that
point.
chunk. Oh, because we were talking about this before we went live, but my first encounter with No Nut November was in the college dorms in 2006. All the boys decided to reenact Seinfeld's The Contest, where they were trying to not nut and see who could go the longest without nutting from either
Hmm.
masturbation or sex. And it was just this fun little competition, you know. It
Yeah.
was a test of wills, and when you lose it's kind of a humble brag because if you like were having sex it's like, oh, you know, oh no, oh shucks, I
Right.
lost the contest. But it was taken so seriously that my college boyfriend, the first time we hooked up, it was probably around midnight and he was like checking his phone in the middle of starting to have sex with me to find out what day it was and what time it was to the dot so that he could communicate to his bros like what time he lost the contest.
Oh my
um
god.
just in case it came down to like the wire like that. um so you
Transgeeks,
know, I think.
I got a Princess Albert, and now I'm forced to participate in No Nut November. Which,
Wow.
yeah, congrats. That sounds amazing. Um,
Yeah.
rip to your nutting for the time being, but
Is that really how long do you have to not nut while you're
yeah,
recovering from that?
I had never heard of that. It makes sense. You don't want to like. I guess you have to pee.
Yeah. So I feel like just keep it moving, you know. I guess pee is more thin, so it wouldn't gunk up the works the way that cum would. 2 to 4 weeks.
Did
Oh
you know this
wow.
ahead of time, or did you get there and they were like, "Well, at least you did it in November."
Yeah. That's really perfect timing. You're gonna be so ascended.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, I didn't fucking tell this story. I feel like I need to tell this story. Okay, so I finally got my ears pierced a couple weeks ago. I have,
Oh.
I started transitioning fucking 10 years ago, like 2012, so over 10 years ago now. Um, and I did get my ears pierced at the time by a friend, my friend Igor, who he boiled the needle first and then and
Oh
then
wow,
did it.
you did it.
Um,
DIY.
yeah, I think he did a fine job. But I didn't keep the earrings in long enough, so they closed up. So we went. I actually went. It was my spouse and my metamor. My metamor had never had her ears pierced, so it was a cute little metamor bonding experience. Um,
Aw.
and we went and Allie got her ears pierced, and then uh, I got they went and they were like, so do you want them to line up? And they, because one of them actually wasn't really centered very good, of course. So they started with the one that was, and she started and she was just like, oh, there's a hole there. Because apparently they didn't actually fully close up. And I've just assumed because I couldn't get an earring in there, I've just assumed that I couldn't fucking put earrings in for fucking 10 years
Were you
because
just missing the hole
no, I
every
think
time?
it was like kind of closed up. So if I had put a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more effort, but also I don't know, maybe I just haven't tried because literally it's been 10 years since I thought they were closed up all this time. So I don't even remember trying the last time. Like I don't even remember
Mm.
when I tried. So very very silly. Um thankfully they charged me a lot less because they were like, we didn't actually pierce your ears. And
We just put a earring in it.
basically, so yeah, taper. They actually gave us a taper, because my spouse's ears were actually similarly kind of closed up, but they just opened them up with the taper. So yeah, if you think your ears are closed up, get a taper
Oh.
and they'll open it back up. But yeah, that's my bimbo story for the week.
You had a hole
Oh,
that you just weren't even using. Like,
I yeah, that's very unbimbo, isn't it?
I mean, it's an interesting combo of bimbo and chastity in this case.
Speaking of No Nut November.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Um, I got my ears pierced when I was 18 at Walmart with
Of
a
course.
gun.
Which is
And
bad.
those guns, they're bad. They create a rip, not a hole. And so that shit would like be getting crusty all the time for years afterward. And then it would seal up and I would just re-pierce it by force. I would just jam something through it and it would bleed, which was fun. Um, I did eventually get like actual piercings recently, or like a year or two ago at the tattoo factory here, um, not too far from my house. But yeah, that that shit was fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
do you ever get those earlobe balls? Those little weird cysts in the earlobe?
I don't think so. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I really I don't think I've gotten them. But I've heard of it. I know what you're talking about.
I used to get them all the time, and I used to just Google like earlobe balls, and it would only just bring me to a Yahoo Answers thread. That was the only resource on the internet, was people talking about the earlobe balls. But I've just always wanted to put a piercing gun through the earlobe ball and make the pus come out.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
My deepest desire.
that was complete tangent. Thank you, Speaks, for sharing. And yeah, I'm glad. Anyway, that I just had to tell on myself a little bit. Um. So yeah, No Nut November.
No, not November. I think it could be fun. I think it's fun. Chastity play is fun.
That's
You
true. I
know,
really agree with that. Yeah.
I think it really does, you don't have to answer this, but what's the longest you've gone without nutting? You can just say, I don't want to answer that, or I don't know. But
Oh, I don't know. It's probably not been that long. Um. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there definitely have been times that I've had lower libido.
mhm.
Uh, so I might have gone. A month seems like a long time. I probably haven't gone a month. And also now,
Yeah.
since I'm an HRT and like non-op, like it's kind of important that I at least,
Mm,
not necessarily nut, but like got to keep things working.
yeah. So you've never like set out to like not do it for an amount of time as like an intentional choice. It's just like a
Maybe a little in high school, uh, but I don't think I lasted very long.
er,
Yeah, I think I could. I probably could, but now, but yeah, unless I had somebody telling me, ordering me to. Uh,
that's that's where I was headed. That's the only time that I've done it is within some kind of like dynamic because otherwise it's a day, like it's not happening, you know. But when it is in that kind of context, it's kind of fun, like it
mm,
does kind of change um your like desires a little bit. Like they're more heightened when you're not nutting. That's kind of
hmm.
fun. Um like you're less goal oriented in like sexual activities, you know what I mean? So like that can be
Right.
kind of nice. Like I think there is something to say for like especially the kinds of dudes who do know Nut November. Like if they were just, it's just too bad that they're like submitting to like a weird alt right cult
It's funny because
of
it's
each
such.
other.
It's funny because it's such like an alpha. Like the idea is that it's like an alpha thing, which uh
Mm-hmm.
I have we ever most people that what that's not a real thing. That was a
Right. Alpha
mistake.
wolves.
Yeah, that was literally a thing that only happens in captivity because they were all fucked up, and that's the only time. And the guy that like said that like did the original study that showed alpha structures literally
In
has
wolves,
come out
yeah.
in wolves has literally come out and been like, yeah, that was all bullshit. It was only because the only reason that that was happening was because they were in captivity and had totally different behaviors. But
Right. Yeah. And not only in captivity, they were wolves who didn't know each other. So they were ripped from their social structure that is way more collaborative and egalitarian and just thrown in with a bunch of strangers in captivity. So it's like, do hierarchies arise in prisons? Like,
right,
yeah. Like in
right,
really extreme, awful circumstances like that, they
right,
do, but that's not natural. Yeah.
right, and certainly not something to uh,
Emulate as a human
emulate.
man.
Right, but uh, yeah, it's very much like a I'm gonna not nut and retain my semen to become stronger and more alpha, and it's very funny how different that is from like Locktober and like putting on a chastity cage and stuff like that.
Oh, was Locktober created as like a friendly? Oh, thank you for the
Thank
subscription,
you so much,
Grave.
Grave.
Yeah, I can't believe that this is like getting subscriptions in, but thank God.
uh
um, was Locktober created as like a more fun, wholesome, kinky? Because I guess what I'm actually in favor of is just Locktober. Like, was that
right.
created as an alternative to No Nut
I
November?
don't know
I
anything
wonder.
about Locktober other than the name. I've heard like the name, and I think I don't know if it was so. My guess is probably that it wasn't direct like that because uh like I feel like every community does their Blanktober, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So I
there's a
don't
lot
know
of
if it was
Tobers.
right. Um,
But that is what those guys should be doing. Is
yeah,
just Locktober because that's wholesome. There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah. We just need to make a
Sure.
bunch of guys that think they're alpha uh, submit to
And
bondage
that's what they
and
want
chastity
anyway.
cages. But anyway, we don't need to talk. We don't
No, no,
need
we do need to talk about it. We do, because because you're right to bring up like how is this alpha to like all like submit to this like order or whatever, and like that's one of the like contradictions of authoritarianism. Like
Yeah,
authoritarians are not authority figures; they're people who submit to authority and like really like
yeah,
desire like the guiding hand of like a structure and like being told what to do. Um, and they want to align with like a big strong like superpower. Like it's a again, you could do fun kinky things with this instead of being a fascist.
yeah.
You could just enjoy this.
I
Uh,
actually I really believe that so many evil things in that people do in society could be prevented by like better kink education. Like
yeah.
I think that like I don't know, maybe this is fucked up, but I think like there are like serial killers where I'm like, if you had just known about kink and had that as a healthy outlet, would you have been fucking doing that shit? Um
That's an incredibly based thing to say. Fuck yeah. I love
like
that.
like, you know, I
Uh,
and it's the same. Yeah, great. Keep power dynamics in the bedroom. Absolutely.
yeah.
Um, I think that there's nothing grosser than bootlicking except in the bedroom.
Right.
It's
No, I think a lot of people like cuz all that humanity is like this goes back to Dawn of Everything is like play with power and structures and roles, you know?
yeah,
Like we go to work and we pretend to be a little worm for our boss that we hate and actually want to kill. Like we're doing all these weird power and identity games all the time. And that's what politics is, that's what everything is. But it gets fucked up when people like actually start to believe it and it actually has real power over people's lives instead of just
yeah.
being a fun little game. Um, oh, can I pull up the person with the model UN fetish? This seems like
Oh
a good time
yeah.
to bring up that person.
Did we talk about that on stream or was it only?
No,
Oh my god,
we
yes. Because I was thinking about that. I thought we had talked about it. Um,
we talked about doing it, but we didn't get to it. So let me see if I can find them.
Oh, it's so good. I'm so glad we're talking about this because that's another thing I was thinking about. I was just thinking this picture of the tread on me daddy is so like that's
That's the
that's
shit,
that's that discussion like in a nutshell.
literally. Yeah, no, and I think you're right that like serial killers, like there are people who have a sadistic impulse, and that does not have to be a bad thing. You know, it's all in where you put it. Like, and okay,
Yeah,
here's the
this was
model
so
UN.
interesting. I'm so glad we're talking about this.
Yeah. So I'll just read it out loud. This is a person who decided to basically sublimate their desire to enact an evil role sexually through pretending to be the United States in the model United Nations. This person, if marry me. I love you. You're incredible. But okay, so they got an ask. Um, Absolutely thrilled to have stumbled across your 1972 Security Council roleplay tag. Legitimately exciting to know someone is into such a thing. If it's not too strange slash personal to ask, would you be able to elaborate on what that entails and what's appealing about that specific RP to you? I'm curious, but I can't quite get my head around it. And Siberitic says, um, so the backdrop to all of this is that I love to play the bad guy. As a small child in play pretend games, I would want to be the villain. I like to be it during tag. As long as it's within the confines of a game and everyone knows we're just playing, I just like to be scary. But with this particular kink, I'm pretty sure it comes from some particular affecting experiences I had as a young teenager. Here we go. I wrote my first Italia fanfic when I was 12, and then was very involved. That's a red
So
flag.
yeah.
uh, and then was very involved in Model United Nations starting around age 14. I was really competitive about it and ended up getting to a national competition once in high school. As a pretty weird teenage girl, now trans man, a lot of my first experiences having crushes or having someone else have a crush on me were at Model UN events. It let me feel powerful because I was good at it, and I realized that having others act like I was powerful and threatening in the ultimate harmless LARP type situation was really hot to me. Um, I could say villain origin story about this as if my real villain origin story isn't things like when I was representing the United States at a Model UN once. Some nerd with glasses, I forget what country, said to me while we were planning stuff, I'm basically America's bitch. And I was internally like, you are my bitch, basically. I'm 15 years old, never dated anyone,
Uh,
and that was wildly horny to me.
I mean, yes, yes.
I loved playing the US diplomat when I got to become obviously you get to play evil puppet master world power, so I would lean into that and have fun with it. Um, I would play the US or any other Western country as a neoconservative realpolitik bastard, even though those are obviously not my real views when it comes to foreign policy. It's not like I was knowingly doing it for kink reasons then. I was just like, it's more fun. And as long as it falls within the range of ideas that leaders and diplomats of that country had about foreign policy, I'm still doing an effective job. The period of history I connected to most was the Nixon era, just because there were so many examples during that period of the US trying to control the rest of the world. And then it goes into them obsessively reading Harry Kissinger biographies
Oh
and
my
Nixon
god.
biographies and getting obsessed with foreign policy and economic coercion via the IMF and the World Bank. um, and then they go to DC thinking that they actually want to work in politics, and then they realized, oh no, this is actually just a really weird fetish, and I should absolutely not work for an international aid NGO if I think the work they are doing is actually bad.
Yeah, and I think that's like such the core thing that's so interesting to me because I think that like this person is incredible for having that fucking realization because I legitimately think this is I mean this is what a lot of people don't they just don't have that realization and they just go and do it and they don't realize they're getting off on it. And it's really dark, but I really think that that is just really what so many people just miss that part and they're just like, yeah, I feel good when I'm subjugating people for some reason, let's not question that.
And you get rewarded for it. And so then you just make it your identity when actually, like, if people did a little bit more like shadow work, as it were,
Right.
and didn't think being horny was a problem, then they could just say, oh, I like telling people what to do and having people be little groveling worms for me. Let's do play pretend games where I
Right.
can do that, but I don't hurt anybody. So this person is like one of the most ascended, self aware, actualized motherfuckers at age 15 of anyone on the planet. Um,
Yeah.
I definitely saw a lot of people like this when I was doing speech and debate. And definitely not in quite the same way because I didn't feel the need to be evil, but I did feel the need to just smack people down, you know? But
Right.
so, like, so I get some of that. But you could see when people were like playing a role and like stepping into it and feeling really empowered and like in like a flow state from doing it. And it was an incredible thing to like watch when just some little 14-year-old in like a too big suit is pulling all of this like crazy policy knowledge out of the back of their pockets in order to justify doing something evil, and you're like, it's
And they're got a big boner about it.
and they got a big boner. It's really cool. Like, people are drawn towards these kinds of games of status and power and evil and good, and it
Yeah.
sucks that, like, because of capitalism, people don't get to play. Like, being playful as a human adult isn't enough. That isn't
Yeah.
okay. Like, so then you have to actually believe in all the shit you're doing, and it has to be towards some productive, impressive end. When we could all just be fucking jerking each other off in the dirt, pretending to be monsters and stuff.
It'd be better for the environment. It'd be better for our fellow. Yeah, I mean, it is really. We've never talked about that on here, but it is interesting that like kink is always described as play. Like that's you have play partners and shit, and it's like yeah, people fucking need that shit. Um,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
did want
It's
to.
role play.
I did want to say when I was talking about like I think that there are when I said like serial killers, there are serial killers that could you know get into kink and then maybe that'd be better. And Slippery Loop said, I think that might help with some, but definitely not all. Like there's plenty of abusers in the kink BDSM community who know what to say, how to act to try to say their abuse isn't abuse. And I think that that's a very good point to definitely make sure we say it out loud that it's like, being kinky doesn't prevent you from being abusive. And that there are definitely
Right.
people that use the like they're better abusers because they learn the like kink language and they put their abuse into kink language. And I think about how um I mentioned this before. I'm pretty sure it's More Than Two, which is a kind of one of the foundational poly books. Ended up being like the guy who wrote it ended up being a huge abuser, and it's like, oh yeah, he was
Mm-hmm.
using all of this like therapy speak to like, be like, well, you don't get to have boundaries, like actually that, and so it's definitely a
Yeah.
thing.
I think an important like thing there to draw the distinction between is like there's a big difference between having sadistic, dark, pain related kind of like kinks and fetishes, and being having the desire to actually control someone and
Right.
actually subjugate them. And those two things aren't really correlated. Um, but like there's no like socially acceptable outlet for a lot of people who do have those um, darker, like it feels unfair to even call them darker because it's like you're not actually hurting anyone, but you have these fantasies about like playing
Hmm.
this kind of role, or getting an extreme physical or emotional reaction out of someone, but you don't want to actually scar them and ruin their life. You want it to be, this ritual that you're entering into together. um, and yeah, so people still don't, there are a lot of people who still don't even know that that's an option.
Yeah.
And I would say that from the flip side, I've thought about this a lot before, and someday I'll write about it. I'm not sure how to write about it yet, but I would say that like having been in abusive relationships on the like abusee side, um, and I'm speaking only for myself here, because I don't want it to sound like victim blamey or something like that. But like, it would sometimes scratch a certain itch that would have been more healthfully fit through BDSM, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That there were like aspects of the dynamic that were appealing that I couldn't at the time identify as a red flag and not a reason to be with someone because it wasn't a negotiated kink thing, but it felt
Yes.
like something that I wanted, type of dynamic that I wanted, but it actually wasn't that. But that was like the closest version to it that I felt that I could get, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think that perfectly makes sense, and it's just like another way that you're being abused is because you're having like desires taken advantage of, and also
Mm-hmm.
like you know there's the oh there's like oh I'm dirty for enjoying certain parts of this that and
Mm-hmm.
that keeps you in the dynamic longer because it's like these desires aren't socially acceptable and right.
Mm-hmm. This isn't what a relationship is supposed to look like, and it's like, well, yes, that's true, but it's because it's abusive. It's not because XYZ like
Right.
thing that you enjoy. Yeah.
Right.
So, and I think that can happen just as easily for someone on the more top or sadist side, that they can be shamed in that and manipulated in that kind of way, and controlled and abused in that kind of way too, for having something that's like very demonizable. So
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot of harm in the world that could be avoided for a lot of people if these weren't shameful things and they were more openly talked about. And people just knew like, oh yeah, you can just do that. You can just find people who want to do that and do it in a way that's not destructive to
And
you,
and
for
here
sure.
is the ways to do it uh um safely, because it's like
Hmm.
I think kink is one of those you can't just do it. Like you kink is something I strongly think you need to do at least a little bit of reading or talking with other kinky people because it's so easy to do it badly, like, and do it in a way that it even unintentionally is abusive. Like you need to have that kind of knowledge, like community knowledge and learning to like safely do that shit.
Yeah, both in terms of technical skills, but also like it just used to be a big thing in like leather culture that like you served your time. It used to be like the norm was like for the first few years you basically were like an apprentice. Like, and you had to be both a bottom and a top. You had to do both roles in like kind of an apprenticeship kind of position so that you'd know what they were like before
Yeah.
you could like actually really have the community vouch for you enough where you could go out and say, okay, I'm this, I'm looking to do this. Like you had to do things within the community,
Hmm.
which is like so cool. And it's like just not something, it's like so much more collectivistic than like almost any subculture in like US, like white dominant culture. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
people don't humble themselves like that ever.
Yeah. It's
So.
It's very cool. I think that there's some stuff I've heard bad stories about that kind of thing too, where it's probably
Sure.
like that kind of culture was also like, it's hierarchical and it's ripe, like even more ripe for the kind of abuses we were talking about. But it's still really really interesting. And you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like white dudes were taking advantage of people and at the top of that kind of chain. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, just different ways of doing things. And yeah.
Yeah. I think certainly the idea of like having just a culture where, you expect people to vouch for you, you learn from your elders, like a lot of
Yes.
those things can be adopted in a wonderful way, but
Right.
yeah, it's definitely been taken advantage of too.
um imagining a Zucker style from Wolfsonek, imagining a Zucker style comedy called Fetish Movie where everyone walks in the theater expecting popular paraphilias, and instead it's about navigating increasingly esoteric scenarios hornily.
God, if I could be like the Ira Glass This American Life of just talking to people about their fetishes,
Yes. Okay,
I
we need
would
to
love that.
we if anybody is new, go back and watch our fetish stream. It's so good and we need to do that again. So this is an official call. If you have obscure or niche paraphilias or kinks, please send them, especially to Devin. Send them to both of us.
Yes.
We need to do more. We need to do another stream on that. It needs to be a regular thing, like at least like once a year.
Yeah, I think it should be at least an annual thing because we got so many. I'll put a link to the VOD in the chat. It's still probably one of my most favorite things that we've done is just
Yeah.
asking people to share their most niche fetishes. People really just came out in full force with that, from highly specific shades of pink to the tendons in statues' feet. Y'all are freaks for it, and it's so good.
It was really good. I want to do a little bit more homework on it because what I'd really like is to collect more material. Like I love the idea of just doing a stream where we show a bunch of porn, but it's so niche. The porn is so niche because that, and like paraphilia, that it's not it doesn't get us flagged.
Right. We could do a straight up porn stream, and because we're showing architecture and trees and the
Yeah.
people like tripping against and all of this crazy stuff, zits being popped, like none of it's porn.
Yeah, so
But it's the height of
especially
eroticism.
right. So what I'd love to see is, especially if you maybe we should do this soon. So start sending them in. If you have a specific kink or fetish that has porn we can show uh on stream, whether it's stuff that's made for that specifically, or if there are just like videos on YouTube that
That
like
just get
act
you off.
act as that kind of stuff. Yeah, the
Yeah,
pink was the best one. Ugh.
that was so fucking cool. I was so grateful to get such a deluge of submissions. Um, People were into so much weird shit. It was so fucking beautiful. So, and does it have to be kink related? Great. Well, I mean, if it's sexual for you, like what counts as a
Right,
kink? Like,
right.
kink. It's a very relative term. Like,
If you're getting off on it.
yeah, like a lot of ASMR would count for a lot of
Hmm.
people, for example. And drawing the line between what's sexual and not is also permeable, as the Model UN person kind of illustrates. So if it gets you going,
We want to hear about it.
that's yeah, yeah, literally. Tell me more. I'm also a voyeur.
uh, really good. So
Yes.
yeah, that went. We literally, before we started talking about No November, we were like, I was like, I didn't really get anything set for it, so I don't know what we'll talk about, and that was a beautiful little tangent.
Oh, the
Um,
last thing I'll say, if you find a chastity cage for T-boys, I get it to me. If somebody can 3D print a very small one that can go on a T-boy cock, like please, this is something I just posted about on Instagram. Help us out because chastity belts suck. They're not usable.
yep.
There's something so elegant and simple and uncomfortable in a good way about a chastity cage, but they require balls to like secure.
Hmm.
But there has to be somebody needs to innovate around this space. So just I've looked on Etsy. Listen, I've looked everywhere.
Yeah, don't underestimate.
Don't I've been trying to find this. I've asked the long-term chastity subreddits. I've asked communities. Um, I'm no engineer, but I feel like you could probably attach it to the lips in lieu of the balls.
Trans peaks, there are some that are held in place by piercings. That's an interesting
I
thought.
I have looked at those on Etsy, and some of the reviews are bad because people do get infections.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, the long in terms of long term, there's like a metal hood attachment, hood ornament that can be attached by a series of piercings along the labia. So that is an option. I, I'm not trying to go. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. So, like a plastic one that could clamp on for a couple of days or a week or a month is more my speed. But
We
so if
need to
anybody
get
ever sees
we
that,
need to
let me know.
this stream needs to get bigger so that we have money that we can throw on things, and we could just do like a, what do they call it, like like when there's a like a bounty, we can just like
Yeah,
like if you invent a good one that doesn't exist, we can just you know, oh yeah, the submissions channel on the Discord would be a great place. Otherwise, just either of our Tumblrs, all of which you can.
are here. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It would probably, yeah, the Discord would probably be better because last time people just sent it to me through asks, and I think y'all have seen how I live. Like,
There's also an
I'm not
email
organized.
address. It's not even on
Yes.
here. Dr.
Dr.
Devin
Devin
Price
Price streaming.
streaming at gmail.com. So you can also
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah. Uh. We turned around. I've been convinced. Those semen retention guys are right.
It makes you smarter, but that's bad. I do get angry when I haven't nutted in a while. I do get fucked up. I go into my Sigma mindset.
You start writing more books. You just
Yeah. No, literally. Literally. Writing my first two books, I was very sexually frustrated. So, you're welcome. I get anxious. Yeah, me too, Valence. Yeah, it sucks.
That's actually really good segue into our other topic that we were going to discuss before our we're going to get into we're going to finish
When
when
rivers were
when
trails.
rivers were trails. We're going to finish that today, but we have one more it's sort of a piss course, not really, but sometimes people compare pee to lemonade, but this time like we're kind of doing the opposite, where the pee actually is lemonade rather
About
than
lemonade.
right. So, did you hear about this? This is a little bit old since we were going to talk about it last week, but we had so much to talk about, obviously. Um, and we probably don't have a ton to say on it. But I just thought it would be. Oh no, my button stopped working for some reason. Um, but
Oh, there we go.
yeah, so this is the very caffeinated Panera lemonade, and I thought I would bring this up just because I know that you're a staunch you think caffeine is evil, and you're part of the woke mob that wants to cancel caffeine.
That's right. I was a caffeine aholic for many years of my life, and then I quit a few months ago, and now I think I'm better than everyone else, and that I found the secret to success. And
You're Part of the woke mob.
Yeah, I'm evangelizing that no caffeine life, but
Um,
unironically.
but this actually is pretty fucked up. So basically, they have this. It's Panera has this stuff or had. I don't. Maybe they stopped selling it. Charged lemonade. This is these are the sort of this picture kind of shows like what you would see in the store. Um,
Hmm.
and part of the problem with this is it was also and it has the 20 fluid ounces has 260 milligrams of caffeine, and the 30 fluid
Okay.
ounces has 389 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh,
Um,
because once you clear 200, that's a lot. Like anything over 200 is kind of a lot.
I saw a espresso is like 60, I think. It is something I was seeing, and this one of these drinks was compared to 3 Red Bulls worth of caffeine. Um,
Ooh.
and uh yeah, so this is a fuckload, and the only thing that in the way of warning is that uh um how much caffeine, but I don't know off the top of my head what milligram, like I don't know what, before I was reading about this stuff, I didn't know what 260 milligrams of caffeine was. Like, I don't think the average consumer can be expected to know what dosages of caffeines like. And what made this and so the reason this is coming up is because somebody fucking died. 21-year-old. This is from Rolling Stone. 21-year-old died shortly after drinking the restaurant's charged lemonade. Basically, she had long QT type 1 syndrome, which is a heart condition that can cause arrhythmias and abnormal heart rhythms. And so she could drink caffeine. So that's the important thing. She was aware it had caffeine, but she um, avoided like energy drinks, and so she assumed
Mm.
that it was a normal amount of caffeine.
Like a
And
tea or something,
right,
probably.
right. Um, Oh my god, I forgot that I was gonna introduce this with this fucking TikTok. I
I have learned
totally
something
forgot
that
about
should
this.
be illegal. 100% should
Look
be
at this
illegal.
fucking
So, and it has to do
lady.
with this drink. Give me a second. So, I at
Oh my
Panera.
God, she's
Oh,
gurning.
I cannot get myself straight. I work at Panera. No, I don't. I work in a Panera. I work in a Panera when I'm doing my work because I don't want to pay for a co-working space, but working at home makes me want to dig my own grave because I'm alone and I don't have human interaction. So, I work at my
Oh my
local
God.
Panera. Understand? And when I'm at my local Panera, they have free refills. This is the mango.
Yeah, so that is another. We don't need to. I just love this lady is so fucked up. It's
I want to watch it. I want to
okay.
watch it.
All right,
It's
we're
good.
Mango yuzu citrus charged lemonade. Whoa, this is gonna be a whirlwind. Okay?
She's so fucked
And
up.
it has caffeine.
so fucked up.
And I knew that. But when I'm sitting there, I'll drink 4 or 5 of these. And I
No.
was like, man, when I work at Panera, I feel great. I feel awesome. I get so much done. Well, so my husband is a type 1 diabetic. So we were going through the drive-thru because I wanted one. And he was like, oh, I want some. And
It
so
gave
he
her
went to look
ADHD.
up some nutritional facts about the drink so that he could have some and then adjust his blood sugar, right? The regular size has 82 grams of sugar, grams of sugar. Whatever, let's push that aside. It has 260 milligrams of caffeine. An espresso, I looked it up, has 63 milligrams
She's
of
such a
caffeine.
freak.
63 for 1 shot of espresso. I don't drink coffee. I don't have caffeine very much. I thought. I drink Diet Coke sometimes. I don't drink coffee. So I'm not used to caffeine like that. And I feel like the Hulk. And I'm drinking these. And I really like them. I've decided I'm going to run them down. Panera, who's going to
not even gonna
263 milligrams of caffeine? Look what you're doing.
She will kill
dying.
someone. She will run someone over in
I'm
traffic.
gonna water them down.
But I like them.
Oh man.
This is how I used to feel on caffeine, and then something changed. Something went dark-sided.
Yeah. I I have ADHD, and a lot of people talk about caffeine not working the same, and I think it does work that way a little bit for me. But I don't know. There's also something weird about the sleep stuff, because I used to be able to drink coffee fine, and then I had this like a year ago or so, I started having this really intense reaction to caffeine where I couldn't sleep at all. Like
Mm.
I would drink it before noon, and then I couldn't get to sleep for like 5 hours after I went to bed or something, which is very
Wow.
weird because I have like sleep issues. So I don't drink caffeine very much at all now because it has weird effects on me. But um,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
People. Pe-
So yeah, people
sorry.
fucking yeah. The point is just that people fucking died, like, and
Yeah.
so to clarify, um, the reason that this is the way that they're so obviously on this sign they don't even say anything. They have the caffeine amount, but
Hmm.
uh, the reason that this was so dangerous, in my opinion, was so this is the Panera website still, which really surprised me because I thought they would have changed this. Um,
Yeah.
so it says powered by clean caffeine from guarana and green coffee extract, which is like a whole thing where it's like it's clean. So it's that it's wild that
It's
they
better
literally
for
use
you.
right. They literally use clean when that is so much like the aesthetic of like that goop aesthetic, right? Where it's like, well, it's clean calories or whatever, so it's fine. Um,
Right.
but it says plant based and clean with as much caffeine as our dark roast coffee,
Which is
which
crazy.
is so untrue. It
Yeah.
is wild that they were advertising these as being similar to coffee.
I mean, so 60 milligrams of caffeine in an espresso sounds right, but like 100 milligrams in a cup of drip coffee is also pretty standard, like 80 to 100. So that would be an 8 ounce coffee. So a large coffee could be around 200, but this is still more than that. So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
How? Yeah.
that's still really high. Yeah.
So they're directly advertising it as being similar to a coffee when it's way more. It's way higher. And
You
you're
know what
also
this
drinking
means?
it in a bigger thing.
We're gonna have a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, everybody should go
Yeah.
say that they drank a bunch of these and almost died.
Yeah. And hopefully that girl's family gets a big payout for
Yeah,
this shit
hopefully.
because that's so. I was hanging out yesterday with Supernova. Those of you who know that
Oh.
trans pop artist, yeah, Ellie, and she was talking to me about how because she used to be a doctor before she quit to become a transgender pop star, um, and she was talking about how lots of heart conditions. Again, it does interact with caffeine in this way, and also spicy food, which is why those. Do you remember those super spicy chips, that challenge where
Oh
you just
yeah,
eat the
that's
one
right.
chip? That was discontinued because a kid died, and it was a very similar thing as here, where the kid had a pre-existing heart condition, and just like the like rush of the spicy food caused heart issues for him. Um,
Yeah. Um. Congratulations to Argyle on quitting nicotine and cigarettes. That
yeah.
it's I think it's the thing that I was thinking about is the discussions that we've had um about drugs in general, because we are not
Mm-hmm.
anti-drug. I mean, we're very pro, like, you know, legalizing drugs and um uh what do you call it, like the specific
This is an informed consent issue for sure.
right.
People are not well informed about how much caffeine is in things and what that means
Right.
and what caffeine can do to you. It's not taken seriously as a drug. So I think yeah, this totally fits in that same
Yeah, this is
conversation.
fucked up for the same reason that we aren't allowed access to, ADHD medications. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we informed consent is about being informed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we should be able to have access to this stuff, but and another issue that I saw other people come, like, first of all, this was you can buy into a club and you get free refills of this all the time, which is intense and a big part of why this, why that girl was drinking like 4 or 5 because she was sitting there with the free refills. Um,
Right.
and like, we but also they were saying this stuff is made the same way they make soda, like, pop, like when you go to fucking McDonald's and they have the big bags of like soda, like that's the way it works. They get a bunch of bags and they like, it's like flavoring, and then they mix it with water, and so you couldn't even be sure that these drinks were actually 280 grams of caffeine.
Right. Yeah, they might not have done the ratio correctly.
Right, because it's just employees. Like, it's not a fucking like exact science. It's just
Right.
it's just the
That's
fucking
why
employees.
McDonald's Sprite slaps. It's because it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not consistent, and so it can be
Right.
higher.
Right.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's just that was the main point I wanted to make about how, like, we should have, if we want to, if somebody wants to fucking drink that much, have fucking 2,000 grams of caffeine or whatever a day, like that lady was doing, that's fine.
They need to know.
But they need to know, like, if that's how you can
Yeah.
operate. And a lot of people in the chat are saying that, I know, with people with ADHD generally, like, that it can have the inverse effect. And they, it
Yeah, it can make you sleepy. Yeah.
it can make you sleepy. And it's like, and yeah, it's just wild that we treat caffeine like it's a fun, we can just fucking have as much of it as we want, when it's like it's just as deadly as other things, and nicotine,
Right.
is the same way. And people know, like, how much bad science was done by tobacco companies to show that tobacco wasn't deadly and all that shit. And same with alcohol, like we've talked about before. It's like, alcohol is just as dangerous, or much more dangerous than a lot of drugs that are illegal. And so,
Yeah. It's we don't have proper like reverence for drugs for what they are. Like I
right,
think we actually need to move towards, instead of seeing them as this scary or evil thing, or if they're medicalized or just given out freely like caffeine, seen as not a big deal. We have to have just
right,
like a reverence for them as these things with importance and power, that we just need to be aware of what effect they can have over us, and without judgment, but with education, make decisions about what we put into our bodies and why, and let every person be the authority on what substances they need, um, and seeing
right.
that as like a really important thing, an important personal decision that every person has to make, and deserves to be well prepared to make.
Yeah,
um, like even with alcohol, we have controlled usage sites, right? Like your bartender will cut you off after a certain point if you go too far, or they're concerned about your health, or they'll call you a cab. We don't have controlled usage in this case with caffeine. Like this person could just mainline it over and over again and not even know what they're doing, let alone have anybody make sure that they're okay.
mm-hmm.
Um, and because it's the productivity drug, like they sneak it into like granola bars sometimes, like gummy bears, like random things, water. Like as soon as they started making just like flat water with caffeine in it, I just felt like the they live man. Like like they're putting productivity chemicals in the water. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Like it's not that it's bad. There's nothing wrong with stimulants, whether it's
Right.
caffeine or whether it's meth, but it's just having an appropriate degree of like reverence for what they can do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the lemonade course, the golden shower course.
Yes. Yes.
So not a ton to talk about, but I just thought that was wild. And I thought I'd let Devin say I told you so.
Yes. Well, even though, I mean, in this case it is, because I remember when I was a true caffeine head, I did look up how much caffeine does it take to die, and it was something like 84 cups of coffee for the average person.
Mm-hmm.
But this person wasn't the average person. They had a heart condition that interacted
Right.
with these things, and that's part of the informed consent piece, is knowing interactions and we just don't talk about it with alcohol or with caffeine. Like just the number of people who have a bad interaction with with alcohol because of some mental health thing or whatever else. Like
Hmm.
we just act like everybody's supposed to be able to self-regulate these things, and take as much of them as they want without any issues. And then when people have problems, we just throw our hands up and do nothing about it. It's
Right. It's your
a
fault.
huge gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, psych won't let me have ADHD meds until my unintentional weight loss is addressed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks. Sorry to hear that.
Um. So, so yeah. So we have a game to finish. Um.
Yes.
Uh. Do you where? So while I'm pulling this up, describe what this game is for people who are just coming in.
Oh yeah. So When Rivers Were Trails is a really beautiful game made by an all indigenous development team, artists, writers, researchers, everyone, all indigenous. And it is kind of the counterpoint to the Oregon Trail or the Oregon Trail. Um, Whereas that's a story of colonization and settlement, and it's about making it through the wilderness. That's actually not a wilderness, it's a bunch of people's homes who've been displaced completely on your own. This is a story of indigenous resistance in the late 1800s as people are being moved forcibly off their lands, um, doing what they can to preserve their culture and look after one another and survive. And so it felt very apt to be playing right now, as we're seeing the genocide in Palestine and them being a people who settlers have taken their land and restricted them into a reservation, an open air prison, and a lot of similar issues. And of course, it's also just in North America in November is also always a good time to kind of think about this stuff, because of just how much Thanksgiving and things like that are just a celebration of colonization, and an erasure of this kind of stuff. So yeah, we played about an hour of it. Is that right?
Something like
two
that. Yeah.
weeks ago. Yeah, so the VOD for that is on the YouTube or on here if you want to watch that. And we also, I think, if Chicago's still here, has been really kindly helping us with pronunciation. Um, and we'll try to honor that as best we can. And also, since the last time we played this, I've been reading Braiding Sweetgrass, which is a book about botany from a indigenous botanist. So maybe that may or may not be relevant, but
Yeah, I've heard great things about that.
such a really lovely book. Yeah, really enjoying it. So yeah.
Um. Yeah. Let me know where the levels are at. This menu music is probably a little louder than it'll be. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like slightly loud for me, but not bad. But yeah, I'll let the chat let us know how that's going.
So yeah. Again, very much like mechanically, kind of like Oregon Trail. We have different things that we have. We have medicine, food, and well-being that we can gain or lose as on our way. And the plot-wise, it started with us being forced off our land due to allotment.
Mm-hmm.
The allotment, like just white settlers were given our home. And yeah, so let's just so yeah, and on these screens we can choose what direction to go, but right now we can just go north is our Indian agent catches you by the water making a salve from traditional medicines, and we can talk, cooperate, or run. Hmm. Do you want to try talking?
Yeah, that sounds like the fact that that's distinguished from cooperating.
You explain the importance of continuing on traditional medicinal practices. The Indian agent ignores you and confiscates your medicines. Well, damn,
Yeah.
we are fucking low
Yeah.
on medicine now.
Yeah. Ooh.
Find a train heading north. We can ride the train. Get on the train. Conductor informs you that you are only allowed on the flatbeds or the roof. Jesus.
Yeah. I assume the flatbread's like the outside, like an outside panel kind of
I
platform thing.
yeah, I was thinking like I was imagining a train car without a box, so it's just like
Right.
no side rails or anything. Which sounds safer than the
Scary.
roof. I mean, they're both really
Yeah.
scary, but then again, like I don't know. I guess we'll try the flatbed. Take a bumpy ride on the flatbed. Okay. Didn't
Okay.
die, so
Yeah. No damage, no loss. So no loss to well-being even. So that's
yeah.
good.
Um. All right. So now we can just go east. So I'm trying to remember how we split up the reading. I think you were reading other people's dialogue, and then
Yeah, and like the little
also
history segments, I think. Yeah.
yeah. You come across a small home and are welcomed inside almost immediately by your auntie. She has hot water on for tea and many leaves to choose from, including wintergreen, raspberry, spruce, and snowberry, all which have unique medicinal uses. I guess we'll listen first. You get as comfortable as you've felt in a long while and listen to your auntie tell you all about Anishinaabe migration and the arrival of settlers.
Uh, I'm having to switch to the Twitch window because it's just too small for me to
Oh,
read here.
here,
Or,
hold
like,
on.
it's a little fuzzy.
I can probably
Yeah, or it's just like a little fuzzy. I don't know. Um,
let me see if I can
yeah.
make it bigger.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that
Okay.
legible or
Yeah. Yeah, that's way better. Thank you.
hopefully it doesn't cut off any text because some of the stuff is off the screen now.
Yeah. I think I'm not on the Twitch screen right now, but maybe that's just because you're editing my display
Yeah.
side. Or okay.
Thank you for everybody for your patience with the tech.
Yeah. Spiral Body says, I've heard some indigenous folks who take issue with braiding sweetgrass due to the broad areas she discusses that are outside her personal territory and culture. My take is she acknowledges the knowledge keepers who have shared knowledge with her, but I can't really speak to how accurate or respectful her portrayal of those knowledge transfers is. That would be my read on it too. That when she's talking about cultures that are not hers, she's Potawatomi. She identifies people and cites them. It could be that no one person can actually represent the fullness of those traditions, and especially if some of them are like more like elite academics, they might be more detached from things. But it didn't feel like stepping out of line. But I would love to read like any critiques of it too. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for sharing that. All right, Auntie. We are living in a harsh fire, but don't you worry, because as the stories say, we will survive and come to thrive. White Earth, written by Elizabeth LaPensee. The relocation of many Anishinaabe in Minnesota to White Earth Reservation was brought on by the 1889 Nelson Act to separate communal sovereign native lands into individual households and then sell the surplus. Indian agent Simon T. Michelet was later accused of fraudulent partiality when assigning allotments, but little was done to rectify the damage of checkerboarding lands. And I do think this is just a really good illustration of like how colonization happens. That land was divided up, like the creation of the idea of individual property is what led to it happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You thank your auntie for her hospitality. something else. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Those screens in particular just like shoot you off.
Have
of
advanced,
the...
yeah.
I don't know why they do that.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't get to trade, which I probably should have traded first because we probably would have gotten medicine.
Yeah. Or I think it was a gift because she was,
Yeah,
taking
that's
you in. So yeah.
true.
Gift.
While in White Earth, you are approached by an unfamiliar young woman and a child. The woman stops you.
Wabigwan, I brought these vegetables from my garden in Red Lake. We heard what's happening over here with your land.
The sisters gift you with the vegetables. Chi miguich.
Or
Great, thanks.
Is it Miigwech?
Gwetch. Yeah, that sounds like what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the emphasis. Miigwech, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I know your people are hurting due to the government wanting more of our lands. Please visit us at our home in Red Lake if you want to work together to save our land.
Miigwech. Thanks. Where's the rest of your family?
I'm thinking of taking my sister while our parents are back in Red Lake protecting our land. We're preparing for the government to come to our land and force us into allotment. We do not wish to give up our land.
You consider helping their cause knowing that you must first prepare yourself.
Oops. Oh, shoot. Yeah.
I don't know why it does that like that.
Yeah, I don't remember having that problem when I was playing it, but it's been a few years.
You approach a home near a garden where squash, corn, and beans are growing heartily. Wabigwan greets you.
Bonjour, Niji. It's good to see you. We were talking about what is happening in White Earth and worry the same fate will come to us here in Red Lake. Please come in.
There's a little history that's Broken Treaty.
By Nokomis Pais. The United States broke treaty promises on July 8th, 1889. Before then, the Red Lake Reservation encompassed 3,260,000 acres, but the Red Lake Band was forced to cede 2,905,000 acres as surplus after the allotment of households registered on the Dawes rolls took place. The reservation was left with little more than 300,000 acres of land in Lower Red Lake and most of Upper Red Lake. And I'll just share, I've looked at some Dawes rolls stuff when I was doing like family genealogy stuff and learning more about this. There was also a case of just also a lot of like white European people faking their way onto the allotments, which they kind of alluded to here. So maybe not even all of that, 300,000.
Right.
Actually.
You accept the offer and join the young woman. Her home is small but welcoming. Miigwech, it has been a long journey. My people are hurting and hungry. Definitely try and see if we can trade. Yes. Please some medicines, thank you.
Yeah, replenish.
Continue on your way. You. I swear I'm not pressing anything. I don't know.
I know. It might just be buggy. Yeah.
All right. Still no choices for direction, so we're just gonna head east.
Okay.
A young Anishinaabe man approaches you swiftly, looking determined.
Makwa, our people are organizing to resist allotment. Our land must be held in common. We need you to help us.
Talk about resistance. Even though resisting will put your well-being at risk, you are dedicated to the cause. I am willing to stay and help you with your efforts to fight against allotment. Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry, I should have asked, but...
Oh, no, yeah, no, that's you. Yeah. Miigwech, Niji, the situation here is becoming increasingly dangerous. Our people are organizing to make sure the government knows we will fight to keep our lands. We need all the help we can get.
And then there's a little history guy.
Red Lake. The Red Lake Band successfully resisted government attempts to allot land to individual households under the Dawes Act of 1889. The act was intended to aid assimilation by dividing tribal lands into small plots of land for farming and private ownership. By resisting, Red Lake Reservation remained under tribal control and was not checkerboarded into individual plots.
Yeah, we have a lot of well-being too, so we should be good to resist.
Sure.
You stand side by side with Anishinaabe from all across Red Lake. The days and nights of negotiations over allotments are long, but your presence contributes to putting pressure on the government to agree with Anishinaabe. Yeah. Red Lake community maintains sovereignty over Red Lake stuff, I think. You overhear a conversation nearby.
It's not that I don't like you being a two-spirit, Nishime, my younger sibling. It's just the white people don't like two-spirits, and I don't want you to get hurt because of that.
Heard that before.
Yeah.
So we have this might be a choice. Sometimes I feel like sometimes it lets you do everything and sometimes it doesn't. So
Yeah.
we can just listen or we can kind of ask about the argument. I feel like I'd like to ask and then maybe hopefully get a choice to, like, I don't know, lend support to the two-spirit person.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
My sister is placing herself and our family in danger because she has fallen for the representative's daughter. She has no idea what this... He doesn't want me to be happy.
Say encourage.
Yeah.
Follow your heart, but be prepared to experience difficulties, just as you have seen your family and people suffer to protect their lands. The brother considers your thoughts.
In my heart, I know you are right. Thank you for your guidance.
He offers you sweet grass, which is cleansing when burned. Awesome. We did it.
Gay agenda.
And we got the medicine.
Yes. And that might be something people don't know, that two-spirit really is kind of a modern term encompassing like queer identities, not just trans people or genderqueer people, but especially those. But
Yeah. The resistance at Red Lake has done well thanks to community members banding together to take plots of land side by side, as well as holding off attempts to settle their territory. The sisters are joined by their family. You approach Wabigwan. You can listen or ask about celebration. I'm afraid to listen because it usually, I feel like it has blocked us out of the other one. So I'm going to ask again.
yeah.
Are you preparing a feast to celebrate? And there's a history.
Ceded land. Due to unrest among the Red Lake Band, the United States set aside forest lands to return to the reservation. However, the promise turned out to be a ruse to diminish resistance, and by 1904, U.S. officials instead forced the Red Lake Band to cede even more land. Again, lots of parallels to what's happening in the present day with ceasefires violated and so on and so forth.
Right.
We are holding a dance, but be mindful. After the agreement was signed, the government did not stop trying to take our lands. The struggle is far from over.
We can trade our medicine for their food, but I think we should not do that because we have plenty of food.
Cool.
We'll just continue. Continue on your way. And yeah, we talked about this last week, but I think it's really interesting how this game is so much more like its philosophy is. It's not only in its like protagonists and it's like what history it's telling, but also its philosophy is so much more forgiving and like you're working with people instead of. I just think that's so cool to have that mechanical, like down to the mechanics is it really, and what story that's telling about this is super interesting to me.
Yeah. It's the complete opposite of the colonizer, independent settler myth in every way.
Right. And it's not just opposite to be opposite. Like it really does, kind of embody it seems to really embody the philosophy that, Native people had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was something that was coming up a lot in reading Braiding Sweetgrass. She talks about how kind of the honorable harvest, the kind of guiding principles of that are you never take the first of anything that you're looking for. Let's say it's leeks. You don't take the first leek that you find when you go out to gather them. You don't take the last, and you never take more than half. And you also leave tobacco as an offering, and you ask permission from the plant before you harvest it to like check it and see if it actually is like healthy and is giving you signs that like it's appropriate for you to harvest it. And like that same kind of principle also applies to just like sharing food with people in your community and things like that too.
Right.
Yeah.
A group of native boys are offering around a meal that can keep a long time in exchange for medicines they need to bring back to their family. I think we might have to decline this because we have so much food and not really enough medicine. But I don't know, we could also just do it. I feel bad.
Up to you.
Yeah, I think we should probably decline. You understand their need but are unable to trade. You are walking along a high trail near a river. It is raining heavily. Over the sound of the rain, you make out a strange mewling that sounds a little like a baby. Looking around for the source of the sound, you see a large fox and some small foxes looking over the edge of the cliff and yipping at whatever is crying. I feel like we might get some food out of this if we go, and we are starting to get low on food. So I'm gonna approach. Go over to the cliff to investigate what the foxes are so interested in. You see a kit fox that is stuck a few feet down on the cliff face. You think you could reach it if you tried, but it'd be dangerous. Yes, I'm gonna help.
I gotta help the baby fox. Yeah.
Anchoring yourself with a tree root, you reach the kit and pull it up by the scruff of its neck. You put it down and all the foxes run off into the forest. Suddenly the root gives out on you and you end up in the river.
Oof.
We lost a wellness.
Swim well-being.
Yeah, but that's okay. We're actually doing very well, well-being wise.
Oh,
So now,
yeah.
so now we actually get a choice for direction. We can go west or south. I don't think we've really gotten any indication of what those two directions will do for us. So
Yeah.
I guess let's try south. Indian agent and his lackeys circle around you looking threatening. I mean, resistance is usually got like well-being is what we've lost with resistance, and we do have plenty of well-being, so let's try that. You challenge them.
Yeah.
You put up a good fight.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we
How's
lost a well-being,
Yeah.
but nothing else.
Yeah.
All right, let's head west. Feel safe under the protection of a cedar tree near the water. Gather or continue? I think we could use some gathering.
Yeah.
You thank the tree as you gather cedar to use as medicine.
Very cool. Cedar restores balance. Leaves can be burned as smudge or made into a tea that is high in vitamin C. Cedar oil is a stimulant and emollient. The inner bark of cedar can be eaten if needed, as it contains starch, and can also be fashioned into cordage. There was a whole chapter on all the things you can do with cedar in braiding sweetgrass. Like it's like a soft enough wood to like make good like bowls out of, and like I can't remember what group of people was, but like it was everything from your basket that held you as a baby to your coffin when you died, basically.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going west. Indian agent is lying against a boulder. He's got an arrow in the knee, and his horse is dead.
Oh shit.
Man, I mean, he deserves it, but
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if the approach will be to like
help,
Get-
presumably.
get him got, or oh yeah. Oh. ACAB. KBPK says.
I mean, yeah, that is kind of the. All right, I think that is the Probably the better thing to do, as bad as it might feel. Fuck him. He's a cop. You'd rather not stick out around just to watch a man bleed out. You leave.
That's none of my business.
Sucks to suck.
Yes.
Find a train heading west. You get on the train. While trying to catch a few winks of sleep on the roof of the train, the steam whistle jolts you awake. Oh, I'm afraid to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm also afraid I keep sitting on the roof of the train. I feel like I'm gonna sit up and get like beamed by a fucking tunnel and die.
That's true. Yeah, they should have written that differently. Wake up, baby.
I'm gonna sit up. You don't get any sleep and keep an eye on where you're headed instead. Okay.
EP girl hours.
Yeah. Leading up to the poor conditions in North Dakota and eastern Montana on reservations, Congress passed the General Allotment Act of 1887. The act divides tribally owned reservations onto parcels of land under individual ownership and then often results in ownership transferring from natives to settlers. Fort Peck is under increasing pressure to allot its land, but has not yet opened up to homesteaders.
Okay.
That's kind of the area we're in now.
All right. So I would think we want to avoid the forts.
Yeah. No choice so far. You're near the border to Canada, which you hear has been used as a strategy to escape United States forces, when a woman who is Turtle Mountain Chippewa waves you over.
Uju. Makwa Nindudem Dodem. I am Bear Clan. What is your Dodem clan? Do you remember? I remember.
I remember the descriptions. If they're the same, or I remember choosing, and if they're the same in the same order that they were, which I think they are, I think it's Crane.
Yeah. Crane
is it Crane? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like the sociable, outgoing one. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that, and I remember kind of what they were. Okay.
KBK says nope. Are we wrong?
Maybe we're wrong. Not the same order.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but no, Crane is what it was. Yeah.
Crane is what it was. That sounds right to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my well-being went up.
Yes. So you know who you are.
Ajijak Indudem. I am Crane Clan.
Just received a letter from the senator. Well, it was meant for my brother who passed on, but the senator is looking for representatives to sign a new treaty. What an opportunity.
Multiple people, KPPK and TransPeaks both thought we chose Sturgeon, so maybe that was just wrong and we just lied to this person.
I think you got well-being right because you were right. Because the Crane was like the sociable one. Yeah.
Okay.
I really think you picked Crane.
What was Sturgeon? I'm trying to remember because we talked about a couple of them, so.
Yeah, I can't remember what Sturgeon's qualities were,
though. Negotiation.
The Turtle Mountain Chippewa are in the midst of a substantial negotiation with the federal government, again seeking to reduce the size of their land. A committee is being formed by a nearby Indian agent to try and form a new reservation with more permanent terms, but few find the possible concessions palatable. This person's a little lib-brained, it sounds like.
Did you
Yeah, I read this. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
What an opportunity to be on one of the representatives.
Yeah, they're I feel like ask about opportunity is going to be like I'm going to be part of the people conceding. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue on thinking about the risks of signing treaties. Yeah. I think I would have been part of the people signing the treaty if I hadn't done that.
Oh, I mean, I don't think it's your people, so I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't have. You see a gathering of native people. They're talking amongst themselves about the allotment. Listen.
I hear they're going to break us up. The agent told me another tribe might get our land. That was their plan all along.
I don't remember what our food is, but I think we can help. I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You offer them foods in case they are split up on a long walk to new land. They thank you for your generosity and assure you that you will be remembered. You continue on your journey. Oh man, we are running low on food,
Ooh.
but
Oh shoot.
hopefully we'll get to hunt soon. Back aches from weaving your way along the river. I think we can use medicine. Apply a salve to your back and feel considerably better.
Yeah, hopefully we get a hunting opportunity.
Yeah, we
soon.
haven't hunted this whole day. An Indian agent riding a
Yeah.
horse quickly catches up with you. Actually, I think I am gonna resist because the thing that we have most of is well-being, and they might take my food, and then I die.
Oh yeah.
He circles around you on horseback and hits you with the hilt of his gun before instructing you that you better report to the fort.
Oof.
Oh man.
Last food of the day.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Here's a trade. Thank goodness.
Yeah. The land all around you looks to be recently left in a hurry. Few people remain, as the rest have been forced to travel, regardless of when allotments reach their land.
Irishadi Idu. Dusha Hirariri. Have you come looking for someone? Many leave this land these days. We move along the river at Elbow Bend, although I think my grandfather followed on and goes to Fort Peck. Burnings by E.M. Knowles. In 1884, the Indian agent broke land 20 miles upstream from Like a Fishhook village and had the earth lodges and cabins burned to persuade the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara to relocate and take up farming, which echoes through the years into tensions in 1890 when Fort Berthold unintentionally burns down and families are forced upstream to Elbow Woods.
I think we should trade first in case we don't get
Yeah.
to, because we're in a tough
Definitely.
spot.
I have squash and corn with a need of medicines if you carry any. Many of my people are ill. Medicine is even more valuable than food these days.
Okay. Whew. So we're still alive. We're still.
Yeah, getting by. Oh, here, it looks like you might be able to hunt. Small bear. You move too heavy and scare away the rabbits. Lighter steps when walking the high grass. Fort Berthold by E.M. Knowles. The Mandan, Sanish, and Hidatsa lived in close proximity due to the 1870 creation of the reservation of Fort Berthold by way of the 1851 Fort Laramie Treaty. In 1890, the government agency of Fort Berthold burned to the ground. The mood is tense, and families have been pressured to relocate upstream to Elbow Woods.
Ask about hunting. Oh, have I gotten in the way of your hunting?
My apologies for sounding harsh. The government pushes us west with force, and with it the hunt. Allotment hurts us all. I could use help with hunting.
Yes. Yes, please.
All right.
Right. Pro gamer time.
Yes. Oof.
No. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no. You gotta wait for the deer. You gotta wait for the deer. They're slower.
Oh
more meat.
man. Oh, we didn't get anything.
Yeah, you gotta have. You're bringing your American white gamer instincts to.
And I need to have patience. Oh
Yeah.
man.
And it will come. Yeah, yeah. They're slower. Slower guys.
Oh shit. A group of Indian agent rides up
Oh
to
my
you.
god. Relentless.
Be still? Indian agents are looking for a suspect. Unable to find any evidence and eventually let you go. Okay, they didn't take any of my shit, thankfully. A woman appears to be very concerned and is looking around frantically when you approach.
Mandan woman. Agudara, what do you want?
I mean you no harm. What troubles you
Ragudara.
so?
Apologies. Oh wait, no. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was a little fuzzy. Apologies, my words were harsh. I look for my Sorry, the video's fuzzy right now.
Sorry.
Mehenge, and I will not trust a face not known to me. I've come to look for him here.
It's a boarding school.
In 1889, Wolf Chief Hidatsa and son of the star, Sanish Chief, requested the Commissioner of Indian Affairs in Washington, D.C. to grant Fort Berthold a school in the hopes of keeping families close by. A boarding school and a day school were authorized, but by 1890, this leads to the separation of many families due to the way boarding schools are managed. Rations, dry goods, and food are withheld by Indian agents from families who do not send their children to school. And there's a story from Braiding Sweetgrass about her grandfather being sent to a boarding school.
Maybe ask about loss? What do you think happened?
I heard strange men laughing, and I haven't seen my son since.
I'm gonna hope helping will take well-being, because that's the thing that we have most of. We could
call,
gift, but we're not out of medicine, but we're so low.
Yeah.
Do you know where he could be?
I think he has been taken to Fort Peck. I must stay close in case he is found, but I would be grateful if you looked for him.
Oh, I think we
Look
actually
like
gained wellness,
Yeah.
being able to help.
Yeah.
So I guess we should go to Fort Peck if we want to do help this lady out.
Oh, yeah.
Which might not be. We might be able to get like food and shit there, so might not
Hopefully.
actually be a bad.
Yeah.
Come across a starving elder who is unable to relocate with his nation. He desperately needs food and often medicines for trade.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we can't even. We
Oh.
literally can't. It doesn't even give us the
we have
choice.
no food. That was the last food, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're out of food, so I don't know what happens now.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get some food here.
Yeah.
You're close to the river and walking as quietly as possible when someone calls out to you.
Kamwicha Tiena. I see you there. Come to find the little one as well, have you? Look no further. See here at the river's edge. There are many small footprints, all in a row, and deep set, as if waiting a while facing the water. More than one child was taken, it seems. Children by E.M. Knowles. Having served as an Indian agency from 1873 until 1878, Fort Peck was erected as a trading post for Durfee and Peck in 1867. Children were removed, families displaced, and assumptions made by colonizers about how the people there should live, which in turn led to many losses.
Ask about children. What happened here?
The Indian agent decided children should be taken to the boarding school to forget our language and ways.
Continue on your way. This may be a fine place to fish, except for the old man in the way who is holding his ground. If you've come to fish, I've fished them all up. If you come to gripe about the fish, I wasn't fishing at all.
I wonder what strategy would have any chance of working. Maybe it's just too late.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, talk. Onion. I haven't come to fish. Well, that's not what I wanted to say. I guess I should
No.
correct.
Yeah, we need some fish, please. So you say. Have you met my granddaughter? She says the same every time she comes around worrying about me, the nervous girl. Well, I am fine, and the fish have been good to come to me.
Well, we can't trade a medicine for food, so we're gonna do
Alright,
that.
Yeah, get his fish that way, I guess.
I can offer cedar from the Great Lakes in exchange for fish.
Iga wabamin. Oop, shoot.
Okay. Well, we're
Okay.
still we haven't died yet. I don't know if maybe we'll
Yes.
lose well-being before we die of food. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God. You can come
oh,
across
nice.
bushes which are lush with blueberries. Okay, yes, please. Yes. Joy gathering the
Oof.
delicious blueberries.
Blueberries by Tashia Hart. Blueberries are a nutrient-dense food high in antioxidants. They ward off cancer and aging, as well as help improve brain function.
Okay. South.
Right.
Nearby, a man coughs and covers up his strain when you get close by. He recognizes that you're not from his nation.
Worried breath. How Tenyan Yahi? Why have you come here?
Answer. I'm displaced from Anabe territory. The allotments push me west.
Many are being pushed west. Here we have so little.
Yeah, I can ask him. I might be able to give him. I have one medicine left, which is so.
I see it is too hard to hide my circumstances. I am unwell. It's best you keep your distance. Illness. The most severe losses for the Assini Boene and the Yakton and Yaktonai Sioux occurred from 1885 to 1890 due to displacement during colonization and illnesses including influenza, tuberculosis, the White Plague, and measles.
I feel like we need the medicine. We're not doing very
Yeah.
good ourselves.
Tough. He deserves
Yeah,
it
that would have
anyway.
been my last medicine.
Yeah, things are low.
South. You have the opportunity to exercise your treaty rights by setting a trap. Setting a trap loses me a food? I guess because I have to wait?
I think because you're using the food as part of the bait.
Oh.
I thought maybe. But you're right, it could be waiting. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, so we only have one food, but I guess
Yeah,
the
it's a
trap
gamble.
would maybe get us food.
But it also might not. It's kind of a gamble.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should just continue. You're getting ready to rest for the night as the stars shine brightly above. Look up. You fall asleep looking up at Ojig, the fisher, who played a trick to free all the birds.
Sure. Written by William Wilson, Carl Gawboy, and Annette S. Lee. During a battle between the animals and ogres, Spring and all the many birds became captive to the ogres. Of all the animals, it was only the Ojig, Fisher, the Big Dipper constellation, that was able to trick the ogres and free the birds. He saved everyone with his courage and wit. Soon Spring followed, and all the animals honored his act. He is remembered in the sky, always on the move.
Got 2 well-being.
Nice.
See a small tent and campfire along the water and 2 native children playing. There's no sign of an adult. Approach. You ask the children if they are okay. They tell you that their mother passed away from a bad cold, but their father has been out fishing all day and should return before sunset. I think I'll stay. Maybe get some of that fish, selfishly. As you chat with them, their father approaches. You explain that you're passing by and saw the children alone and was checking on them. He is grateful for your concern and tells you about his fishing spots so that you might catch yourself some dinner. Fish. Oh,
Nice.
all right, Charlie. You need
Alright.
to chill.
Yes.
So I only
Alright.
get one chance at this. Isn't that? How
Yeah,
this
so
one
wait for
works?
a big, slow thickums. Yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah. Gamer
gamer instinct.
status.
Oh.
That's a 3-fish fish.
That's a 3-fish fish. Woo.
Fuck yeah.
Back on the board. Back on the
Yes.
board.
It's not Jover.
Pro gamer status restored. Thank you. Oh, and I yes, Helarctos selfishly. I appreciate that. That's
Yes.
very good. Uh, I don't know what the best strategy for mosquitoes is because we only have one medicine.
I do like the idea of someone just running from mosquitoes.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see. Quicken your pace and get away from as many mosquitoes as possible. Lost the well-being. That's okay. Approach the water's edge. Look, water is calm. Canoe. Charlie, what are you doing? You're being a
yeah.
brat. Oh, there's a little mini game. Okay.
Gamer moment. Yes.
Canoeing instructions. Canoe your way through the river. If you crash, you lose well-being. Tap left arrow to move left. Tap right. Okay. We're gonna do a little Flappy Bird thing. All right.
Yeah. Ooh, the water sound is so nice.
Oh, I'm a pro at this.
I know.
I've played enough Flappy Bird. I shouldn't say these
Yes.
things. I'm gonna jinx myself.
Oh my god, I could listen to this water sound all day. This is so good. Oh, look at the beaver.
Oh, little beaver.
Oh, shit.
Ow!
Oh, you
Oh,
made
that
it.
was
Oh, you
good.
made it.
I
Yes,
didn't-
that was the land.
Not piss.
Mm.
More water.
There's piss in there.
Yeah. All water is just piss if you think about it.
Yes. Dinosaur piss.
Charlie, come here. Stop it. Stop it. I'm going to put you on the floor. Oh, my God.
Baby jail.
Baby jail. Crow territory has been defined in the Fort Laramie Treaty as of 1851, but by 1868, the Crow were forced to sell nearly 30 million acres, thereby shrinking their territory significantly. During the Great Sioux War of 1876, the Crow fought alongside the United States government in hopes of keeping their territory out of Sioux Oseti Sakowin hands. Despite this, the federal government continued to seize Crow lands, allotting them to individual ownership. During the spring of 1890, a handful of settlers have begun pressuring the Crow to allow sheep grazing on the reservation in exchange for cattle and flour. Tribal representatives, including Chief Plenty Coops, are against sheep grazing because it causes crop damage. Non-native sheep ranchers also did not reimburse the tribe for damage, nor did they hire natives to help in herding. In November, a United States government agent denied grazing leases to the sheep ranchers in favor of Crow leadership.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in another place.
Yeah. Okay, Sioux Reservation just opened. Francis Brown, you there, stop. What business do you have here?
Lie, gripe, or run.
I like that griping is a tactic.
I know.
It's like kvetching. Indian Police by Carl Peterson. Tired and defeated, many natives took jobs with the U.S. government to survive. The Office of Indian Affairs gave native people jobs with busy work. One of the most prestigious yet alienating jobs was as a police officer in Agent McLaughlin's Indian Police. So, a capo, basically.
Right.
Oh.
Oh.
Thank you. Gotta refill the piss.
I'm tempted. I don't know if gripe is the right thing to do, but I want to gripe. Who are you to ask?
I'm a policeman in the Office of Indian Affairs. Your command of English will interest the Indian agents.
Oh man,
Shit.
we have a lot of
They recruit
well-being.
you too.
Yeah, we're gonna dip. We're gonna resist. We freeze to answer, so he raises his gun. This looks dire.
Shit.
Oh man, both of these options feel bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and run. Strike at the officers with some success. You run away, but unfortunately a bullet grazes your shoulder. Luckily, you escape and end up recovering near a large tree. Okay. Whew. While recovering from the experience... something happens.
Somebody named Ghost Dancer took care of you.
Oh. You unexpectedly come across Tatanka Ayotaki, Taki, joined by Kangi Si, who translates for him. You have heard many stories about his adventures of off-reservation as a performer in Buffalo Bill Cody's Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Oh yeah, this is the guy that there's like a famous painting of him, I feel like, right?
Oh.
Because his face looks really familiar to me. And
yeah.
that makes sense if he was in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show.
Tanka Ayotake. How Iyuha Tanyan Wicho Timita Tawat Yahi Pello. Hello, welcome to my community.
Yeah, Sitting Bull is the name, yeah.
Even though Tatanka Ayotake was known to perform in Buffalo Bill Cody's Buffalo Bill's Wild West show and encourage being agreeable during assimilation in the hopes of protecting future generations, he is later unfortunately killed by Indian police at the Standing Rock Reservation in South Dakota on December 15th, 1890.
Yeah.
Takue Yahipi Huo, why have you come?
I have been run off my land.
Naichize Yachin Hantash Ihab Ichun Wo. If you're looking to resist, go somewhere else.
I do feel like I would like to hear what he has to say, even if that's not really the style I'm going for.
Sure.
Where should I go then?
Chanpa Wakpa Ekta Iyayo Echiwa Wanagi Wachipi. Go to Cherry Creek. They are ghost dancing over there. Oh yeah, the ghost dance is like a resistance movement.
So actually he did give us some advice of where
Yeah.
You're recovering from your long travels when a Lakota warrior calls out to you.
Wazumaza Tuktel Yaun Huo.
You're huge props to for you to taking a swing at. I definitely gave you the much harder end of this.
Well,
and you're also
you know,
also fighting a blurry screen share too. So
there was something nice. There's a whole passage in Braiding Sweetgrass where she's trying to learn Potawatomi, which I believe is really closely related to Anishinaabe language. And like one of her kind of teachers says something to her about like anything that's like breathing life into these words, even if you like butcher it, that's better than to not. And that made me feel a little bit better about how much we fumbled a lot of things. That it's like, well, it is still better to like say these words. It's better to try.
Better to try. Yeah, that was definitely the feeling that I had. Yeah. So I'm glad that. Yeah. I am Anishinaabe from far to the east at Fond du Lac in Minnesota.
Azumasa, our people called yours the Hahatun-wan. You were our great enemies once, but none of that matters now. You look able-bodied. What do you say to helping us load these wagons in exchange for a bit of our rations? You won't be able to withdraw your own without an agency ration card.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh.
I guess
weird.
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Maybe I don't have enough something? Well, yeah.
All right, Toxa. Oh shoot. Yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't take that deal. It seemed like very generous.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago says my best friend is Fond du Lac. Cool.
Where was the guy? Which direction was the guy telling us to go? I immediately forgot.
Oh yeah, where did he say the ghost dance was? Does anybody remember?
I thought it was. Yeah, because last time we didn't get a choice of where to go.
Yeah, did he say to the south or did he say to the west? Cherry Creek. Okay. So maybe a little bit more south. Thank you so much for remembering that.
Yeah, Right, it was Cherry Creek, which is
Yeah.
this. Well, west. It looks like our options are south, and then west, and then south. So I feel like we want to go
Yeah.
west.
I feel like west might. Oh yeah, yeah. I see where it's pointing. Yeah, you're right. Totally my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chiani River is bustling with resilient and resourceful Lakota. Nearby, a woman is making a hand drum.
Ante Suda Winyan, strong-hearted woman. Are you here to photograph me today?
I don't think we have a camera.
Yeah.
Maybe we can trade?
Yeah. What do you have to trade with us, dear friend?
I think we are still low on medicine, but our food is real bad.
Yeah.
So I think we should trade a medicine for a food.
Here is a handful of turnip braid strands. Good trade. May your forward journey be safe.
Yeah, we're fully out of medicine now, but
Oof. Yeah. Hopefully we can forage some.
wherever you go, attention hangs over the land. The attention turns to focus as a woman from Hunkpapa, Lakota, Aspeya notices you. Ask about people, ask about buffalo. Maybe ask about buffalo? Where are the buffalo I have heard so many stories about?
Asusika. The Pechachka Oyate has become bone. The Waisikun killed them all by the millions. The ghost dance will revive them. As flesh once more, they will cleanse Unchimaka of the Waisikun and return the old ways. Buffalo by Carl Peterson. The ghost dancers believed they were summoning the buffalo back from extinction to cleanse the continent of the colonizers and bring back their traditional way of life.
Ask about people. Is there no hope for the ones who have turned to their ways?
They have cast their lot and must live with it.
You have to be going, so you nod and continue on. Many animals come to the water to drink, providing an ideal trapping site. This is minus medicine and food, which I don't know how we can do if we don't actually have any medicine. Maybe it'll just let us.
Yeah, maybe it's either or something.
I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit this time.
Sure.
Set a clever trap, place down Asima tobacco, and then find a place to wait. You're trapped as well. You
Nice.
catch a large animal that will nourish you for some time. Oof.
Nice.
Ugh. A strikingly tall man regards you warmly.
Welcome to Cherry Creek. Our gracious host, Spotted Elk, has loaned me this tipi while I stay here. I'm instructing his people in the ways of the ghost dance.
Ask about ceremony. What can you tell me about the ghost dance?
Ghost Dance by Travis McKay Roberts. In 1890, the Paute prophet Wovoka founded a religious resistance movement called Nanishana, or Ghost Dance, Nanishana. Christian teachings and Paute traditions joined together with a hope that the movement would lead to the restoration of bison and the return of ancestors' ghosts to Earth. The ghost dance spread rapidly throughout the West as tribes adopted Wovoka's vision of an end to settler expansion and an embrace of restorative living. The dance itself is an intense physical and spiritual resistance, compounded by the fact that the American Army view it as a threat, which leads to the massacre at Wounded Knee. Wovoka. In the ceremony, you dance for 5 days to honor the ancestors. If we continue to honor them, they will return to us and return this land to the way it was.
I mean, I think to be true to our playthrough, I feel like we have to dance, even though I'm a little worried for not having any medicine when we do it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should do it. Yeah, I would like to join in the ghost dance. Okay, we lost well-being, which is better for us. I don't know what he said. It went by too fast.
It said you were able to do it for a couple of days, and then you got tired.
Okay.
You weren't able to keep doing it.
Catch those so much faster than I do. You approach the water's edge. Look, the water is rushing quickly. Oh,
Ooh, yes, canoe time.
and on hard mode, maybe.
ASMR. Clipping.
You
Hell
made it.
Nailed it. It's interesting. I didn't know that the ghost dance was like a marriage of like almost like Christian teachings
Yeah.
and traditional ones, and was like almost, and it makes sense as this almost like revelations kind of, or something like this, like belief that people were, it was like a new belief system to kind of cope with everything, like, and a rebellion. It's really interesting.
Yeah. United States government, following the discovery of gold in the Black Hills, has broken the Fort Laramie Treaties of 1851 and 1868. Despite victory over General Custer in the Battle of Little Bighorn, the Battle of Greasy Grass, the agreement of 1877 officially created the Great Sioux Oseti-Sakowin Reservation. By 1890, continued pressure from the government, settlers, and corporate interests has resulted in further divisions of Sioux Oseti-Sakowin lands, including the secession of the Black Hills. One tenet of Fort Laramie treaties of 1851 and 1868. Safe passage for settlers and allowing for roads and forts to be built along the Oregon Trail has been largely upheld by local tribes and fosters plenty of trading opportunities.
Okay.
So now we're in the Great Sioux Reservation.
Mm.
You're looking for plant medicines low to the ground when you come near an Oglala Lakota man crouching by wilted sunflowers. He seems approachable. What we really need is medicine.
Mm.
So I do, and we don't have a ton of food, but we have a little bit. So I think we should first off trade.
Sure.
The art in this game is all really, really good. And it's all,
Yeah.
it's like a bunch of different native, or at least, a
Yeah.
couple different
Yeah, all the
native artists.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The personality in people's faces are really good. Like, you get.
Yeah. And the animals, especially like that we mentioned before last time, are just so good. Looks
Yeah.
like you've gathered quite a bit. Want to rest? Maybe trade away some of those roots?
Red Leaf. Surely do. Give me a little of what you've got, and I'll give you some of what the land can provide.
You can continue on your way. Okay, we got a medicine. I'm gonna go east, hoping that I meet some more people and maybe get some more stuff. As you rest a moment, an elder approaches. You sit and they sit and rest with you and ask you to tell them a tale. Wise and tired bones groan as you suddenly have company. You consider what kind of story to tell her. Talk about life, talk about journey. Metagaming, I feel like talking about life might get me wellness, and talking about journey I might be like, yeah, shit's been hard, and maybe I'll get material stuff out of it. Give the elder the story of where you've come from, been, and hope to go. There's a sadness and hardship, but as the elder points out, also great hope. As the elder stands to leave, a cloth sack is given to you with warmth. We got 2 medicine, so we're
Very nice.
We're surviving.
Flush.
You feel safe under the protection of a cedar tree near the water. Gather.
Oh yeah, more medicines.
Thank the tree as you gather cedar to use as medicine. And we already read that cedar one.
Yes.
Enter a blacksmith shop. It is being worked by a Lakota man. He wears a sheriff's badge, oddly enough, and keeps a Colt revolver on his right. He seems strangely familiar. I'm a little afraid to joke with this.
Yeah, with a cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lakota man notices you looking at him just as you realize that he seems familiar because you've heard stories about him.
Paul Eagle Star. Maybe you've seen me in the newspapers. They say I'll be the breakout star of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Bill tells me we're going to London next year. Eagle Star by Travis McKay Roberts. Paul Eagle Star grew up on the Rosebud Indian Reservation in South Dakota and attended the Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania. In 1889, Eagle Star returned to the Rosebud Agency and began working in a blacksmith shop before traveling as a performer with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about this guy. Let's trade if we can. I haven't any use for blacksmith goods, but maybe you're willing to make other trades.
I'm always stocked up on foods and medicines, and up for trading, especially if you've gathered or hunted yourself.
I think we still are low on food. Maybe offer medicines for food?
Sure,
I think it's probably the better option right now. Trade medicines for food. Nod politely as you leave. Yeah. General store is in poor supply. They are only trading food in exchange for medicines or beadwork that they can mark up in price. We can get food and lose well-being. I think we maybe
should beadwork.
Yeah, I think we maybe should do that because we're doing pretty good in well-being still on and get food. As sad as that is, I think that is what we should do. Give up a family heirloom to the store for the sake of food. As you're walking along a foliage-covered path, you overhear a few men talking about land allotments. Interested to hear what they have to say, you quietly follow the voices to learn that government agents have been sent to survey a nearby reservation. I mean, we're still pretty good on well-being. I think we can help.
Yeah.
Contribute to the resistance by defending the land side by side with warriors. The land survey is delayed. Hell yeah. Kind of getting low on well-being now, but...
Yeah, that one took 2.
Yeah, that was a lot. Just lost 3 in a row. Let's try west. See a small tent and campfire along the water and 2 native children playing. There's no sign of an adult. Oh, maybe this is the same. Yeah, I think this is actually the same. I guess these must be random. So you ask the children if they are okay. Yeah. They tell you that their mother passed away from a bad cold and their father has been fishing out all day. We'll stay again and get some more food. You chat with them. Their father approaches, explain, passing, saw the children. Oh, yes, I get to fish.
Yeah,
okay.
Fish time. I've never seen something repeat in this game before, so it's interesting. Yeah.
Lead your shot.
Yes. 2 fish. Hell yeah.
2 fish. Needed Delicious. That. Traveling for most of the day, the hot sun is overheating you and your weary legs need a rest. You see an old stump that has a bushy young tree growing out of the side of it. I'll take a sit. Sit down on the stump to catch your breath. Deciding it's too hot to wear your jacket, you take it off and lay it in the branches of the young tree. As soon as you release the jacket into the tree, you hear what sounds like rattling beneath the coat.
Snack moment.
Yeah, I don't know what presumably if we just leave, we'll lose the coat. I'm not sure what the difference between looking and intervening would be. Maybe I'm gonna hope intervening is just like grab the coat.
Sure.
Take a deep breath and snatch your coat while jumping back. It reveals a beautiful snake that you know to be a blue racer. Its scales reflect the sunlight brilliantly. The rattle was a trick as it's nowhere near as dangerous as a rattlesnake. quickly drops to the grass and slithers off like a lightning-fast streak of blue oil.
Oh.
Feel a lot better
Nice.
knowing it wasn't actually a rattlesnake. Oof,
Nice.
cute baby.
Tricked ya. Yes.
You see a weary and half-starved looking young man near the decrepit Fort Laramie. I think we're not in a great place vis-a-vis food, but I think we
Yeah,
can.
We have a little bit to get.
We have a little bit, yeah. If you need help, I have food. I'd give you
I'd
the
give you
shirt
the
off.
shirt-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'd give you the shirt off my back for a good meal. Thank you so much.
You nod goodbye to the young man and continue on your journey. Let's keep going west. Come across a starving elder who is unable to relocate with his nation. He desperately needs food and offers medicine for trade.
How many do we have left?
I don't know. I was trying to remember.
Yeah, like one
And
or
I think-
two at this point.
I think we have 2. And I think we have like 3 medicine.
Yeah. Getting on the edge again.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it. Empathize with him, but are unable to trade. What do you call a snake that has your jacket? Sir.
You're with a capital S
Yeah.
for protocol.
Sky darkens and a heavy rain begins to pour down. The rain quickly becomes overwhelming and you start looking for shelter. While searching the rocks for a suitable shelter, you hear the bleating cries of an animal in distress. You then spot a bighorn sheep who has a leg stuck between some rocks. Yeah, we do have some medicine if we get bonked. I think we can try. Storm begins to rage and thunder resounds across the sky. The sheep, frightened, begin struggling vigorously. You think you could free it, but it could be dangerous. Let's try and help. You approach the sheep cautiously, trying to assure it you mean no harm. Calms enough to let you close. The rocks are wet and slippery. With the help of a nearby branch, you are able to pry the rocks, and sheep snatches its leg out of the crevice. Sheep lets out loud bleats and ascends the rock, disappearing into a thin cave mouth you would have never seen yourself. You found shelter for the rest of the storm. Oh wow, look at that.
You and the sheep just chilling in
Chilling.
the cave.
You need to dry off after crossing the water. Yes, rest. You lay down and wait until you and your clothes are dry enough to continue. Okay. Seems like the right choice. Feel tired as you reach the water. Rest again. Sit down for a moment and close your eyes. You soon sense something approaching the water. I'll be chill. You stay where you are and open your eyes. You see before you a beautiful white buffalo. You continue on your journey, feeling hopeful.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
White buffalo. Yeah.
Starting to feel dehydrated. You don't have water, but berries are a good alternative. There may be some around, but it will take time to look for them. Yeah, we can look. Spend a few hours looking in the forest to find a handful of berries. It tastes better than nothing. While in the Black Hills of South Dakota, you come across a group of people who have gathered for the ghost dance, a ceremony formed by the Paiute prophet Wovoka, which you understand to be an act of resistance.
Hills. The Black Hills had long been considered the sacred center of the world by the Lakota, and as such were fiercely defended during the Treaty of Fort Laramie negotiations in 1868. That treaty forever awarded the Black Hills to the Lakota, but was torn up when settlers discovered gold in the area. The unlawful dissolution of that treaty led to generations of resistance. One of the most prominent forms of resistance was the ghost dance, a syncretic ceremony founded by the Paiute prophet Wovoka.
Yeah, I'd say ask to observe. Boju. it was Buju.
Bougie. Yeah.
Yeah. May I sit and watch
Bougie
your
is
ceremony?
like I'll
Yeah, that was
speaking to
the
the bougie. Yeah.
man steps out of the crowd wearing a side-brimmed hat.
Lakota man, I have heard of you and your part in the resistance. We would be honored if you would stay with us.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Thunder and lightning brace the sky, and we watch.
So if there was something powerful in the air.
A man approaches and taunts you. Who are you?
Who
Oh,
are
sorry.
you? You look ugly. Look at this mask.
Yeah, I love
Like
it.
a narwhal.
And
It's
his
so
and
cool.
his like his stance.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very expressive. Hioka by Trevino Briggs Plenty. A Hioka is a sacred clown, a contrary medicine person who is known to be upside down, sideways, backwards, and goes against the norm, but holds ceremonies to benefit people.
I want to
Oh,
know
sick.
everything about this guy. Like
Yeah.
this kind of guy.
Sacred clowns. Oh
With
my
that sick
God.
mask. Yeah, I want to know everything.
And he's nagging you already.
We gotta gift this guy. We gotta gift this
Yeah.
guy. Offer a Sema tobacco, and he gifts you with a handful of spider sacks.
Wow.
Sure.
I mean, sure, yeah.
You thank the man, although
Although
you're
you are
unsure of the purpose of the,
The
gift.
purpose?
I really hope
Oh,
we
we
could
love
throw
a
it at
freak.
some white people.
Yes. Thank you for these spider sacks. Oh, cool.
Oh man. See a long path before you. Travel. You start walking towards another place. All right. Oh, so now actually we just went back up to where we were.
Yeah. From a little different entry point, a little bit.
Northern
I
Cheyenne
think it's Cheyenne. Yeah, I think it's Cheyenne.
woman is humming nonchalantly to herself and picking choke cherries. She nods at you and continues gathering. You try to start a conversation when you hear a noise behind you. I'm gonna try and be chill. Be still. The woman smiles at you. Little Buffalo Bull woman.
I'm Little Buffalo Bull Woman, and my brother behind you is Singing Elk.
Talk or ask? Man, these choices are so ephemeral sometimes.
Yeah, you don't know exactly where it's gonna go.
I'll just talk. I am Anishinaabe from the Great Lakes. You share your story, and Little Buffalo Bull Woman nods understandingly. Little Buffalo Bull Woman sends you on your way. Okay. As you walk alongside the river, Singing Elk catches up with you.
Singing Elk. Sorry about earlier. I was just looking out for my sister. Do you know how to hunt?
Yeah. You assure him that you know how to hunt. Singing Elk considers you for a moment before nodding his approval. He points to a trove of trees about a mile up with his lips. That's good.
That's good. There's a
oh, yeah.
white-tailed deer on the cottonwoods over there. They're hard to get, even with a gun. We need some meat to take back to the camp at the agency. If not, we can kill a farmer's cow and take the meat back. If me and Little Buffalo Bull Woman can flush a cow towards you, can you shoot one of them? They'll be coming fast.
I'll try and hunt a cow. I'll see if I can redeem myself.
Yeah, fuck these settlers. Cows, Adrian Jawort. By 1890, the white-tailed deer had declined so much that they became very hard to hunt. Northern Cheyenne had to resort to luring cows, and the ramifications for being caught were far worse than anticipated.
All right.
Good. You were running from the Vejo, so we understand. We will help you all that we can. Welcome to our land. Now let's get some meat. Woo, gamer
Look.
time. The cow is fast. Yes.
Very
Fucking
difficult.
got him. Oh my
Oh
god,
my
look
god,
at all
so
that
much
meat.
food.
Yes, fuck those settlers.
Fuck these white
yes.
people.
Yes. Very good.
Oh, we're back. When's the last time we've been above the halfway point for
I
food?
know.
don't
We're
think
so
we-
back.
All right. Let's go north, I guess. Muscles around your knees are starting to ache badly from walking too many hours at a time. Let's look for medicines. Push through the pain and search the nearby bushes for medicinal plants. You find enough nettle and dandelion to make some medicine and soothe your muscles. You also collect some for later.
Nice.
Cool.
Let me know if you want me to start reading more.
No, I'm okay. Can you see? Can you see? Okay.
Yeah, it's better now.
Your throat feels scratchy and your ears ache. I'll rest. Sitting, you notice some nearby leafy greens. You collect them and chew to ease the discomfort. Throat feels a bit better, and you decide to continue. Nice. You hear a ruckus coming from a huge gathering of crows who are cawing and making a variety of sounds in the trees surrounding a glen. They are very intense. Every now and then, some will swoop down to the grass and back up to the trees. Look. After observing, you can see that they keep swooping down towards a dead crow. Drum, intervene, or leave.
They're in mourning.
Yeah, I'll drum and see what happens. Yeah. You've heard stories about how much crows care about their own and how protective they can be. They remind you of your own people. You put down a sema, tobacco, and sing a traveling song. The crows are quiet for your song. The crows seem more relaxed after your song. You continue on your way. Wow, that's
nice.
Yeah, I love crows, and I've heard so much stuff about like how intelligent they are and all that stuff. And I've never heard any like native, like heard of native knowledge about crows. I would love to learn more about that.
Yeah,
'cause I'm sure there's really cool like knowledge about, you know, interacting with crows and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Meet a young native who needs help. They're starting to get sick but have run out of medicine. They are willing to trade food for it. Yeah, I think we're a little low on medicine, but I think that'll be okay. Trade some of your medicines for their food. Oh yeah, we just got a bunch. We're good on medicine.
Oh yeah. Pretty well stocked right now.
Indian agent is handing out blankets to crow people at a camp at the outskirts of the reservation. Yeah, I don't. Definitely not gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna intervene. Fuck these guys. Intervene and warn the community about the government handing out disease blankets as a war tactic, which draws unwelcome attention from the Indian agent.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yes.
A man is whittling knives when you pass by. Hawk, ask about land. Let's talk. Skyboy.
Skyboy, I have knives for sale. They are the best kind.
We could trade some food. I only take money. Oh, well.
Oh. Capitalism boy.
Yeah. What can you tell me about this place?
If you look too strange, the townsfolk will shun you. If I were you, I'd move on past this place. Easier not to bother yourself here. Deadwood. Deadwood is a small bustling town built from the Black Hills Gold Rush. Miners came in droves to stake claim in the gulch filled with dead trees. In 1889, Dakota Territory is split into two states, North Dakota and South Dakota. Although the rush is over by 1890, the town continues to be quite active.
You nod and then continue on your way. See wild rose bushes along the water. They are ripe with rose hips.
A good treat for chinchillas, rose hips.
Oh, I've never even heard of rose hips.
Yeah, they're high in vitamin C. Wild Roses by Elizabeth LaPensee. Wild roses are high in vitamin C and can prevent and treat colds and flu. They can be eaten fresh for maximum vitamin C, and the rose hips seeds can be dried for medicines.
I wish it was just like, actually, we just open it up and it's like, they don't have any fucking vitamin C. They have some other shit. They actually deplete your vitamin C by eating them.
Yeah. Yeah. They make you have diarrhea and trip balls. They're bad for you.
Photo says apples and roses are related. I did not know that. That's wild.
That's cool.
Yeah, it just says Devin is wrong.
Wouldn't be the first time. I don't play with chinchilla facts.
Yeah, you don't. You see a long path before you. Travel. You start walking towards another place. Following allotment on Nez Pierce Agency Reservation, the United States Cavalry has set up a detachment during the spring to keep white ranchers from grazing their cattle on tribal cattle land.
Also, there's Boise, so we're getting close to like Idaho, or what's now Idaho.
You're surrounded by land which is nothing but horizon except for a small community of teepees. Apsaloke person is tending to their home when you approach. You nod respectfully.
Enemy Hunter. Welcome to Absolute Land. I am Enemy Hunter. That's a great name.
Yeah. Let's talk. Anin. I am Anashanabeg. I have been displaced from my land.
Since you are without family, I will share dried meat and mint tea. Be to care for orphans.
You continue on your journey, determined. This land looks good for setting traps. Yeah, I think we have enough
Yeah, fucking
food to take a gamble. Clever trap with a lure and take cover to wait. Catch a scrawny animal, but use everything.
Nice.
A pair of huge black ravens swoop and play in the air above you. They flip and twirl and even fly upside down. There is something shiny that they are dropping and catching between them. Look. One of them fails a catch and the shiny thing plummets to the ground, landing deep in a crack between a pile of stones. The birds land by the stones, frustratedly croaking and chortling while they try to retrieve their treasure. The ravens work diligently, using their great beaks, but to no avail. The stones are too heavy. They eventually settle for playing with a nearby stick instead. Intervene. Feeling sad for the ravens, you fish around in your bag and produce a small, colorful stone which you toss over near the rocks. The ravens look at you suspiciously, then consider the stone. They grab it and fly away. A few minutes later, you see one of them flying back to you, and it drops something shiny at you. What lands at your feet is a silver dollar.
Oh, they're so smart, and they're playful babies.
Oh, I love them so much. I really badly want to make friends with, like, the crows and ravens in my, like, where I live. And I know that there's a lot of strategy. A big thing for me is just that a lot of the strategies come down to being regular about shit, which I'm really bad at.
So they get to know you, and
yeah.
yeah. Are you supposed to just how are you supposed to like engage them at first? Just kind of be around.
Feed them
and then-
regularly. There's like specific things they like. I think I've heard that like peanuts, a lot of other things aren't big enough to get in to open it up, and I think they like meat. I've also read a thing that like if you feed them, if you get like a piece of metal, like sheet metal or something, you can like feed them on there and it makes a sound. So then they start to like recognize the sound and like come find you. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I need a life goal. See a tall, hairy figure pass through the tree line. Look, whatever it was sure moved fast. Follow. You make a bold move and pursue it to get a closer look. Continue. It's Bigfoot!
It's a Bigfoot.
What?
It's a dang Bigfoot.
I didn't know that was a native thing.
Yeah, Bigfoot, written by Ronnie Dean Harris, adapted from Annie York. When they were building the rail line, they had a construction camp just above the tunnel near the village. The camp started noticing things going missing from the storehouse and the meat cache. After so many nights, a couple of the camp workers decided to arm themselves with clubs and ropes and stake out the storehouses to capture the culprit. After midnight, they saw a large shadow creeping about the storehouses. It dug through the garden at first, pulling up the card labels for vegetables and trying to taste them. After that, the giant broke into the meat house. It tasted the salted fish and didn't like it, turning over the barrel. When this racket ensued, the awaiting team pounced, lassoing the giant around its neck. When he moved to escape, he snapped his neck and died.
No.
A native passerby saw the campers standing and looking at the body of what is now known to be a Sasquatch and quickly ran to tell the chief what he had seen. The chief then gathered his warriors and traveled to the site, demanding the body. It was then taken and buried with traditional blessings in our village cemetery. We believe Sasquatch are humans transformed after practicing medicine on the land. Wow.
I didn't know that at all.
Very cool.
Poor Bigfoot. Poor Sasquatch.
Well, yeah, they're just people.
Continue on your way thinking about Bigfoot. Who among us has not?
It was
has
not. Continued on their way thinking about Bigfoot. What a nice thing to think about.
Me every day, yes.
As it should be.
Let's go west. As you walk along, you notice a few tall cedar trees. When you get closer, you see they are surrounded by poison oak. I'm gonna try and gather. Carefully gather a few branches of cedar while offering a sema. Oh, okay.
Photo
This is-
said that Sasquatch is treated differently by different nations. Okay, so maybe some saw him as a person. Maybe some people saw him in more negative or frightened or they shared. But a famous story is that you shouldn't whistle at night because it will call Sasquatch to come scare you.
As the sun descends in the west and you settle down in the relative quiet of the evening prairie, your attention is drawn to a raspy grinding sound in the grass. There's something there. I'm going to try and intervene. Brush at the bushes, trying to see if you could chase away whatever is there, and it's unexpectedly, there's a loud squeak, and a large mouse with an extremely long tail launches straight up into the air and almost onto your face. You scramble back, and it takes off into the grass, into the grass in the fading light. You decide to
It's a
leave this
dump
place.
truck.
You're like, fuck that.
I'm being attacked by mice.
Traveler approaches and asks you to share your medicine in exchange for food. Yes, that's exactly what we need. Agree to the
Beautiful.
arrangement and offer the traveler some medicine for food.
I got so much medicine at this point. Wow.
Wait, didn't we just get? Did I read that backwards? Did we give food for medicine? I think I read that
I thought it was supposed to be
the other way
medicine
around.
for food too. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it was a glitch or something.
Yeah, am I? I swear it said to give medicine minus medicine
That's what I thought
plus
too.
food.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know.
that's weird. I wonder if that was a glitch. That's no
Yeah.
good. We have so much medicine and and no food now.
We're gonna be just smoking.
I mean, there's been some time in my life when I've smoked tobacco instead of eating food.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
A few native men are gathered by the water. Curiously approach to get a better idea of what they are gathered for. They are preparing to fight for rights to fish on their traditional territory. Yeah, we're gonna try this. Helping the resistance by defending the men from settlers, which gives them the time they need to fish for their community. Men, thank you for your help in providing for their families. Man, that really screwed us. We were doing really well.
Yeah, it was
We're
in
like
very good balance.
I know.
At least we have a lot of any other trade. We can just offload the medicines. So
Nearby, a native woman is being cornered by an Indian agent. The Indian agent gets increasingly aggressive with the woman as she resists his questions. Fuck this bitch. Minus
Yeah.
2 well-being. Draw the attention of the Indian agent by taunting him. You get into a scuffle, but you consider it a victory since he is successfully distracted. Indian agent knocks you to the ground, and as he leaves to make a report, the woman thanks you for getting involved. She gifts you with red cloth to wrap a sema in. We're officially out of
struggle time.
food. Come across a
Yes.
snare that has caught a muskrat by the tail. It struggles to break free. I'm sorry, little muskrat. I think we need to get you.
Yeah.
Finish off the muskrat and then take the meat for yourself.
Thank you for giving up your life to feed us.
Yeah, thank you,
Musky.
muskrat. Passing through when you overhear a conversation about treaties. Young native woman, if they don't sign more treaties, then what does that mean for us? Oh,
Then we will have lost our sovereignty. We will no longer be recognized as nations, but as Americans like them. Young native woman, we must resist and insist they sign.
yeah, I'll help. Offer to help in the act of resistance. Presence in the resistance helps ensure that allotment is delayed, but the treaties are left unresolved. Oof, well-being is a little low now.
Yeah.
You're traveling through the Nez Pierce Reservation borderlands when you come across a Nimipu elder. He is carrying a spear with him. I'm gonna ask. Maybe he'll give me stuff. Yes, may I join you for fishing?
Nice. Elder Nimipu man. Well, certainly, La Tiwa.
Alright, I gotta get a big fish.
Yes. Yeah, get a nice big slow boy. Oh, shit. Okay.
Thought about it, but I didn't
Yeah.
know if he was big enough. I think those were the biggest ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if this
got
one
him.
was. Yeah, I got nervous.
It's a two fish.
That's a twofer.
Twofer.
Come across the place where Nimipu Elder lives. He has returned with many fish and welcomes you inside. Just as you begin to feel comfortable, a young woman arrives.
Tikpu Tin Mei. Gualaka, grandfather, I'm home. Kalaka. Elder Nimipu man. Oh, Tikpu Timei, where have you been? Mein Hiwes Nick Ka Im Tut. Where are your mother and father? Tikpu Tin Mei. The superintendent sent a wire that they are no longer here with us. They died of the sickness that was going around the sanatorium. Sanatorium, written by Renee Holt. Native people are taken away from reservations and forced to stay in sanatoriums when they become ill. Despite promises that people will recover, diseases spread rampantly within tight spaces, and lack of care leads to many deaths. Elder Ninipu man, can you bring me the pen and paper? I need to write this letter and get it to the courthouse. Hamtik, hurry.
Let's help the elder find a pen and paper. We'll ask, what are you writing?
Since Tikpu Timei is not a man and she is not be viewed as the head of the home, the law will be against us. She will not be able to inherit any deed or land from her parents. We must act quickly to resolve this.
You offer good thoughts for a resolution. Oof. See a long path before you. Start walking towards another place. Following a decision made by the United States government in 1874 to change reservation borders without consultation, 3 of the 4 tribes that make up the Blackfeet Confederacy permanently relocate to Canada, and those remaining in the U.S. make peace with neighboring tribes. The U.S. government offers cattle and herding equipment in exchange for stolen land, but the tribes struggle to adjust to farming and ranching. All right. Indian agent catches you making use of traditional medicines. I'm gonna try and run? Make a run for it. You escape with your medicines, but the Indian agent writes up a description of you and distributes it to the Office of Indian Affairs. As you walk along the railroad tracks, you come across an abandoned camp. Yeah, let's take a risk and look at it. Camp has only recently been deserted. Other than remnants of an old fire, only abandoned railroad working tools remain.
Railroad workers. Chinese miners worked on placer mines and then transitioned to building railroads after the gold rush. They worked for half the wage a white railroad worker was paid, receiving only $1 a day. After the railroad was built, many stayed and formed small businesses, including mercantile trading, laundromats, and restaurants. But their success drew the ire of white-owned businesses who were afraid of the competition. Soon, white citizens began to organize against Chinese business owners, and by 1909, laws in Montana aimed at Chinese increased their taxes and prevented them from becoming citizens, voting, owning property, and even marrying anyone who was not Chinese. Many left to the west around 1890 with hope for better lives in Chinatowns. Of course, around that time, the U.S. also banned the immigration of any Chinese women, particularly into the country, so they couldn't marry people who weren't Chinese, and there were no Chinese women for them to marry, and that was a big part of the laws well into the 20th century.
God. See nothing salvageable, so you continue on your way. Gathering of Salish, Pendo, Diorel, and Kootenai face the lower Flathead River when you approach.
River Honoring, written by Indian Land Tenure Foundation. The Lower Flathead River has been a significant historic and cultural resource to the Salish, Pendorville, and Kootenai tribes of the Flathead Indian Reservation. Today, tribal land management is committed to maintain the river corridor's environmental integrity. One effort in doing so is through educating youth about the river's importance, as well as plants, animals, and fish that depend on the river. These teachings are shared during the annual River Honoring themed Living in Balance with the River, which is organized by tribal fisheries and wildlife staff. Salish Elder. Not so long ago, rivers were homes and paths for us to visit with one another. We do our best to continue to live this way, in balance with the river. When the elder finishes, the community becomes very active and welcomes you to join them in appreciating all of what the river has to offer.
I'll fish.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nice splash too.
The gamer fish.
Gamer fish.
The
Symbol of all gamers.
See a buffalo far in the distance. Yeah, we'll hunt a buffalo.
Boy.
Oh. God
Wow,
damn.
lots of meat.
Yeah.
My God.
I did actually
There were-
really need that though.
Yeah. It's good that
Okay,
there were
wow.
multiple
Yeah,
roaming.
we really wow, that really took us from dangerous to doing well.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't take too much though. That we actually needed all that. Approach a 4-story school where a Métis teacher tends to lacrosse sticks outside. Ask about lacrosse. Bujo, playing lacrosse soon?
Oh, me? No. Sure, back in Manitoba, me and my brothers would play all kinds of sports, but these sticks are for the students. I think it's important that children get to play while they learn, don't you?
Stay with the teacher and help him smooth. Did you catch it?
Smooth the lacrosse sticks. That's all I got.
While walking along an established trail, you mistakenly come near a military encampment and quickly take cover.
Some days I don't know what we fought for. This is their land. The purpose of allotment is to create the American Indian. 2. The purpose of allotment is to create individual landowners. They should be grateful.
Their argument grows more heated. You carefully sneak away so as to not draw attention. Indian agents call out to you in a violent tone. Actually, our material stuff is probably actually better than our well-being right now.
Yeah.
So
that's
maybe
true.
we'll. Indian agents are
shit.
looking for a suspect who stole from a local farm. They hassle you about being where you don't belong. Another Indian agent arrives with news that the thief was found, and they let you continue on your way. I'm still doing good though. Recognize this land from the stories about Rocky Boy and the Anishinaabe who continued west during the Great Migration from east to the Great Lakes. Perhaps they're Anishinaabe here.
3 by Elizabeth LaPensée. What is known in 1890 as Assiniboine Military Reservation in central Montana includes what is later renamed to Rocky Boys Indian Reservation. In 1885, Little Bear's band of Cree flees from Canada to the United States for protection by Rocky Boy and other Anishinaabe, who had established themselves west beyond Gichigamig, the Great Lakes. By 1890, threats by Indian agents to deport the Cree are mounting.
You look around for Anishinaabe, but instead see a small band of Cree. Gift? Ask about Cree. I think we have plenty to gift. Offer the Cree a sima. One of the men acknowledges you, but hesitantly.
Cree man. Some of us have found work near the fort, but the Indian agents here are out for us. They call us British Crees and try to force us back to Canada.
I mean, I'll encourage them.
We resist their borders and cross the medicine line as we see fit.
The man nods at you. You continue on your way. At a train station several hours east of the Blackfeet Agency, you see an elderly man sitting with two other men, one of them smoking. The smoking man regards you dismissively. The elderly man gestures for you to come over to him. He says something in Blackfoot, and when you shake your head, he begins to speak to you in well-articulated but heavily accented English. I'll try a listen.
Siko Mo Ka, Black Sleep, I'm sorry. Where are you from? I can tell you're not from here because you look funny. You have that funny look. He says something in his language to the other two. They laugh.
I don't feel like we need to fight with these guys. I'll ask about land. Where are we? Ask about him. Who are you?
Siko Mo Ka. I've met two of the men who lead the white people, the one they call the president. I put my mark on all of our Ischukuk Stimatnists, the ones they call the treaties. And even though the white man says this land where we sit now is his, it is still ours because we were not paid for it. We put our marks on the treaty, but we were not paid for it. My name is Imitai Isiki, but if you want to know what that means, you'll have to give me something. The wait for the train is long, and the sun is hot today.
Yeah, we got plenty right now. You give him some food, but not necessarily because you want to know his name.
My name means beautiful man. The other two laugh. The white men named a mountain after me. In my younger days, I was a good warrior. More than once, I brought home many horses from the enemy camp, and I have 30 grandchildren, with more on the way. What do you have to show for yourself? He's such a grump.
Yeah. You've had enough and decide to continue on your journey.
Irascible to the end.
If only we could all be so lucky.
Yes.
A scuffle has started at a mining camp nearby. Listen. Overhear the miners fighting over gold that they are bringing back from Sweetgrass Hills. We're getting a little low on well-being, but fuck it. Intervening just draws their attention to you. They think you are after their gold and run you off. Well,
Dang.
it probably was not worth it, but... Traveler approaches and asks you if you'd like to trade some of your food for medicine.
Man, they're trying to do a big trade.
Oh my god, yeah. Where it's
3.
I wish it would tell us what we had in these screens.
Yeah. Yeah, if they kept that at the top, that would be helpful.
I think 3 medicine actually might put us over.
Yeah.
So I'm going to decline.
Yeah, that's a big trade.
Yeah, that would have been bad. Buffalo bones crushed by being thrown together and bleached by the sun are strewn about haphazardly. Offer. Yeah, we got the medicine to offer. Offer Asima tobacco for the spirits of the buffalo. Solemnly continue on your journey. You hear that there is a man at the church who is paying people to let him record them. You have heard of these recording machines before, but you'd never seen one yourself, so out of curiosity and the possibility of being fed, you make your way to the large brick church. Ask about Archivist. How did you get here?
William McCutcheon. There were writings published in a magazine by a white man who came some years ago and lived with the Blackfeet. He is still here. I just saw him the other day. He's a good writer, but he is a souse, one of those men who has wasted much of his life on drink. Believe me when I say he has proved a negative influence on more than one person here. Myself, I am a sober man. I go to church weekly, and I do my daily constitutional each day before dawn. I have no time for that nonsense. But our friend, his contributions on the page have been nothing less than immense, and many years from now, what he has done will be a valuable companion to these recordings and the book I am working on.
I like that we can antagonize this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tempted to antagonize this white man.
Yeah.
There is a man like that back home. He has written many things about us. The old people say he isn't worth anything, that everything he says is wrong. What do you say to that?
Well, the way I see it is whoever says it in a way that will last the longest is the one who wins out. Ooh. The people here that cannot speak for themselves, how could they? Once great, they are now pitiful. Only a few years ago they were starving, eating leather and killing their horses for food. It's their cultural law to only eat the split-hoofed animals, did you know? Imagine eating your own horse and then its saddle. It's a terrible thing. So men like myself and our dipsomaniac friend, we're doing what must be done. Or soon enough there will be truly nothing left.
Continue on your way thinking about what the archivist said. You arrive at the agency building. Just look. Notice a peephole in the door, one you have to bend down slightly to look into. Nothing. You notice a man has come out of one of the lodges. He is holding a baby. Ask about agent. Is this where the agent is?
Mutoyus, belly button. Yes, but you'll never talk to him. He stays inside, locked away. He laughs.
I'm looking for work. I need food. Do you know of any way to speak to him? I feel like we don't actually need food or work.
Yeah.
It's the agent, like I'm assuming that's like the cop?
Yeah, I would assume like an Indian agent, so I'm not sure why you would want to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave. Decide against staying
Yeah.
and instead continue on your journey.
Yeah, that's fair.
Getting ready to rest for the night as the stars shine brightly above. Look up. You drift off looking up at Mang Lun, the messenger who stands at the doorway between the water and the land.
Loon by William Wilson, Carl Gawboy, and Annette Lee. Mang Loon, the Little Dipper constellation, is a messenger and leader who always stays close to the water at the doorway between the sky above and the earth below. Mang helped Nanabush place the stars and planets in the sky, including Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. In turn, Mang includes Giweden among the North Star Polaris, which shines brightly to show the way north.
I love those ones.
Yeah,
Feel restored when you wake up and continue your journey.
pretty.
We're coming up on 5. Do you remember? Do you have a sense of like how much more we have? Because I know you played this, but it was a while ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe you can Google it. Because if it's
yeah,
just
I'm
a
trying
little
to
bit,
Google it real quick.
if it's just a little bit more, I'd be down to just finish it up. But if there's like another
Yeah.
decent chunk, then we could leave it. Because that does seem like a decent place to end. If
Yeah. I don't think it's much longer. It is kind of a guess. Like I think it's maybe like one or two more screens like this.
Okay.
So
Do you have?
I
Do you?
think, but I could be wrong. But
Yeah.
I think that's how I remember it. So
Yeah, I mean, if you you're on the Rocky Mountain, seems kind of close. Yeah.
yeah, so you're getting close to the coast. So I'd be down to take a quick maybe water break and then see if we can get through it in the next hour, and if not, then call it maybe. I don't know. How are you feeling?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if I
Well,
have.
you have
an-
also if you have stuff going on too.
Yeah,
so-
I don't know if I have an hour. So if you think
Okay,
it might
let's
if it
save it
might be
then,
close
yeah.
to that, yeah, I think we can do because we'll assume it's not very much longer, and we'll do and we'll assume we have a shorter little bit to finish up
Sure.
next time. I certainly
Yeah.
don't mind giving this another part of a stream. So
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
definitely use it as like the final hour cap on the next stream we do, or one soon. Yeah.
yeah, this game is really great. It is hard because I mean, a lot of it is very sad, but I really appreciate that it's not just sad. Like it's I don't know. I think from my own perspective, from my own, like, what's closer to my own experiences, I just think about how so many story, like the kill your gays trope, and how queer people are just so often like, it's just you're only written in as tragedies. And I think that seems to be and it's true of like many, pretty much any minority group. And Photo says it feels hopeful, and it really does. But it is also hard, because it's like it's sometimes very sad, and then sometimes very beautiful in a way that also makes me really emotional. Like, I feel like I'm gonna cry playing this game, because it's like, it's either like sad or like beautiful in a way that makes me feel like I'm gonna cry. Not even sad, just like emotional. You know what I mean? Like, But
I think,
it's really beautiful and moving, and feels like entertaining in it, as well as like educational. Like, it just feels like a beautiful world to inhabit, which is kind of the best, like a really big aspect of the best kinds of games, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like certainly the way that the indigenous genocide was talked about in school when I was a kid, to the extent it was talked about, it was just this like this settled thing, right? Like, it just happened. It was like, oh, they all got sick, and there were a couple of wars, Battle of Little Bighorn, like a few, Wounded Knee. You hear about a couple of those things, and just, oh, people were massacred, and that's the very settler colonialist narrative of like, oh, it was a done deal, and like
it was inevitable. Is the way it's written
right.
about.
Right, and there's so many stories that we miss in that. First of all, that these people are alive, and their cultures are alive, and people are continuing to have to fight to preserve what they have to this day, and to get land back. But there were just so many resistance movements and battles that were won, and ways in which people pooled together resources and crossed borders, and did so much politically to fight against these things that we just don't learn about. And this is the 1800s. Like, this is the time period where, when we're learning about it in school as like white Americans, we get taught that it was like basically done, like that like settlement was done. Like, we're learning about the Civil War and Reconstruction happening in this period, and it's like those things were happening too, but this was also a huge part of that, of what was going on. And so it is really nice to just see like these small personal stories of resistance.
There's a place near me in town that is it's very interesting. It's like a historical house where apparently people lived like the 1800s up until like the 70s. There was just these like old white guys that like, and as Chicago points out, shit's still going on,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really very interesting, but it's about like white, like it's like a historical house, and they have it all set up like it was in like the 1800s or something. And I just wish like it's just so much the way that we think about things, where it's like the white settlers were like the protagonists of our history. And so I'm like, I it was really interesting learning. Like, I went there recently, and it's like really interesting learning about that stuff, but it's like it's so from the like that one perspective, like, and even though this is like a nonprofit group that puts this on now, like, I mean, I don't think that they think of themselves as like setting a narrative, but it's so there's just not any mention of any like native stuff. And I don't know, just the way we continue to talk about it like on all levels is just really sucks. And so it's really cool that there's stuff like this out there that is so from a different perspective.
Artistic Bum was talking in the chat about just how all of the just land border creations and changes by the government, just violated treaties are so sudden, over and done before any indigenous people get to even hear about it. And it's yeah, again, the parallels to what's happening in Palestine are just one to one of just you're moved off of your land into a completely different area where you can't practice whatever modes of like subsistence you used before. It's different land, it's different plants, it's different animals, like, and then it's just encroached upon further and further,
Yeah.
through all of these legal mechanisms that you don't have any means of participation in, and you don't recognize, rightly the legitimacy of, and that, yeah, again, is still very much going on here as well. And there's lots of indigenous people who are living today who also don't get what little, again, the government gives in this very top-down paternalistic fashion, like, and it's like, it's so annoying to hear sometimes people talk about it as like thinking there's some kind of like they talk about disability benefits, like they talk about everything else as some kind of handout, when it's like, no,
Yeah.
these are not people that were given land or giving benefits. They were pushed completely and still are like losing land.
Yeah.
Like development still happens on native lands. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd love maybe this month I could find I think about like the water defenders and like pipelines as being a really big current fight.
Mhm.
Maybe there's something to talk about there sometime this month or something.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for coming on this journey, for hanging out, talking about November and being porn brained and also other shit. So
yes. And thank you again, Chicago, for the pronunciation notes and
thank you so
things
much.
like that.
Really,
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
appreciate it,
That's really, really cool to have. Let's check a look at who we have to
I should say also this game is completely free for anybody who wants to play it.
Yeah.
It's on Glitch.io. So
we mentioned that last week, but yeah. When Rivers Were Trails, free on itch.io. Give it a play. Give it a play.
yeah. Yeah. There you go. You can
There's-
certainly donate to the dev team if you can.
Yes. There's Max Fluffy. Just chatting. I don't.
Let's do can we do Steph Sanyati?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she used to be a trans YouTuber. Now she's more of a streamer. She's a sweetheart. I really like her a lot.
Steph, STEPH.
Oh, STF SANJATI. I can also do it if it's not popping up for you.
I got it.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
She's just definitely someone that I'm like, notice me.
All right. Yeah. Don't forget to check out the Piscord. Follow us on socials.
Yes. Tell us about your
Watch-
kinks and fetishes in the
Yes.
Discord stream suggestion thread.
Absolutely.